nomination forms from the Electoral Commission office in order to vie for the presidential seat in the next year election slated on 12th January 2026. 8 out of the 183 aspiring candidates are females. 85% of the aspiring candidates are youth, and most of them have just completed Form 6, and majority have just graduated from universities. This big number tells you that there's something brewing up, and this is attributed to the people yearning for a change in leadership.
Great Lakes analyst Stephanie Walters says the Democratic Republic of Congo government and the M23 rebel group are so far from reaching any substantive resolution to the conflict in the east of the country. This is peace talks in Doha between the two parties group have hit a roadblock with the 18th of August deadline for final agreement now missed. The rebels accused the Congolese army of breaking an earlier agreement while fighting in eastern DRC has continued, displacing hundreds of thousands and claiming hundreds of lives. Walter explains.
Ever since we had this ceasefire being signed, absolutely nothing has changed on the ground. Both parties have violated the ceasefire. The M23 committed a massacre of 300 civilians just several weeks ago. Both parties have had have spoken publicly in a very hostile manner about one another. I think the parties are still very, very far apart when it comes to any kind of substantive resolution of the fundamental issues.
The non-governmental organization My Vote Counts says it will write to South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa to request that he release the full record of his reasons for signing into law amendments to the Political Funding Act earlier this month. Ramaphosa assented to doubling the upper limit of donations to political parties. The threshold for disclosure of donations is also up. This follows Parliament's passing of the regulations in May this year. The President has passed the legislation despite a pending Western Cape High Court judgment on the matter. The organization had challenged the constitutionality of Public Funding Act, including the limits as well as the President's powers to make a final determination. The organization's Joel Bregman.
We're obviously considering our options at the moment and chatting to our lawyers. But what we will be doing is writing to the President to ask him to release this information. PIA would be the formal process we might have to adopt, but we just are going to be requesting that he release this in the interest of transparency. There's PIA, there's also PAJA, the Administrative Justice Act. So we do have mechanisms through which we can approach this, but we are hoping in good faith that he will just make this public knowledge.
South Africa's Justice and Constitutional Development Minister Mmatsheko Kubai has encouraged women to occupy leadership positions in professions traditionally dominated by men. She delivered a keynote address at Women's Month Dialogue hosted by the University of South Africa and the South African Women in Dialogue at UNISA's main campus in Pretoria. The gathering has brought together over 200 women from civil society, faith communities, business and government. Kubai emphasized the challenges faced by young women in rising into leadership roles. And lastly, the authorities in the Pakistani city of Karachi have declared an emergency and a public holiday following torrential monsoon rains paralyzing the financial capital. At least 8 people have died due to flooding that has caused houses to collapse and brought down power lines. The BBC's Azadeh Moshiri.
Multiple people have died in Karachi from houses collapsing on top of them. Some have drowned, others were electrocuted. The City of Lights is dealing with power outages and gridlocked roads. The main underpasses are flooded. Karachi police have told the BBC they're responding to dozens of emergency calls and have been hauling vehicles from flooded streets. Residents have been warned heavy rains will continue.
For any news stories you'd like to share with us, please send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us at +27 11 714 4459. Channel Africa News, I'm Oneli Tsinzi.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
It's 7 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time. Good afternoon and welcome to The Upside on Channel Africa, the African perspective with Tebogo, Lekhuleni and Mmatsheko Mosito, coming to you live from the Auckland Park Studios in Johannesburg, South Africa. From Johannesburg to the entire world, we are broadcasting The Upside on Channel Africa. We'll be with you all the way to 4 p.m. Central African time. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. It's getting warmer. Throw away those blankets, throw away those jackets, get the shorts on. I don't know if you can wear them in the office. I don't know how appropriate that is, but get the shorts on. We are in officially summer, warmer months in Southern Africa. What are you experiencing right now? Let us know where you're streaming us from on our WhatsApp line +27 63 406 9126. Stream us on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. DSTV, it's channel 802, OpenView channel 628, and as always, you can stream us on www.channelafrica.co.za or simply download that SABC Plus app. Good afternoon to you, Mmatsheko Mosito. Happy hump day. How are you doing?
Hello, sir. Just on that note of whether shorts are appropriate in the workplace, aren't we lucky that we can wear shorts?
Oh,
we
from
can
next
wear
week? Oh.
listen. We can wear sandals. Yep. You can show people your toes. Yep. I mean, we are just so blessed in the creative space.
100%.
But we're looking forward to the spring season and looking forward to today's edition of The Upside. We've just officially kicked off. If you're tuning in, well, you're just in time for the upcoming conversation. We're going to kickstart it with the Braai brothers. You were actually asking me if I've actually...
If you've ever been to that.
Yeah,
if I've
yeah, and I haven't. So this is going to be quite phenomenal to speak about, and it's quite novel for me as well. So it looks like since the year 2016, the Braai brothers have been bringing authentic taste of South African braai. So if you don't know what a braai is, it's essentially like a barbecue. It's a South African concept of a barbecue, okay? And they're going to be bringing this to all kinds of functions, you know, weddings, private gatherings, corporate gatherings, etc. So we're going to be talking about what the Braai brothers is all about. Been established since the year 2016. So I'm looking forward to that conversation. Talking about food always excites me. And then in the golden hour, just after 2 p.m. in Central African time, we're going to be connecting South Africa and the Ukraine through history, culture, and tourism in a place called Mazeppa Bay. Never heard of that before.
Never heard of it myself.
Never heard of
Apparently it's a hidden gem there in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. So we'll be learning a thing or two. And then our final conversation this afternoon, embracing flexibility and mindfulness through yoga at any age. I personally have never done yoga. I've never tried it. It looks like it requires a lot of flexibility, and I don't think I have. I tried just folding my legs this morning. Epic failure. So I don't know if I would apply to this yoga conversation this afternoon.
Please apply. Although I must warn you that yes, there's the physical aspect of yoga, but it's actually more mentally confronting than it is physically confronting. Okay. So you want to deal with yourself. Yesterday we were talking about holistic wellness. Yes. You want to be holistic? Yeah. You got to try yoga.
At any age. Those conversations coming up on The Upside this afternoon. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's 10 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of The Upside.
Ahoy, matey!
Captain here to help, right, boys?
Set sail with us on a digital voyage like no other. Channel Africa has a treasure trove of awesomeness. That is our website and social media pages.
Tell me, why are you here?
We want you to be part of our adventure.
The winds are changing, Captain. And this time...
Imagine a world where curiosity knows no bounds, where entertainment meets enlightenment, and where every click leads to the African perspective. Visit us on our website, www.channelafrica.co.za, or follow us on Instagram or on X at Channel Africa 1. Go on, like us on Facebook at Channel Africa 1. So, spread the word. Tell a friend that Channel Africa's online variety is what they need on the web. Channel Africa, the African perspective. No matter where you are, Channel Africa is always with you.
just be honest. I know my heart if I be honest. She in control when she feel on it. The petrol that calm me down. You like this, I like thing, my love. I love being your love. I'm tryna show you up. You are comforter. She really the A-list girl. She really my favorite girl. I'm loving the way you twirl. You twirl in the Maybach. She really the A-list girl. She really my favorite girl. I'm loving the way you twirl. You twirl. Fresh up and it on me. You can't do it slowly. You're dirty wine, would you burn it for me? Take a picture in the shot sleeve. I had a feeling, one of the things. You'll be there, reason I stay. When you ain't girl, you make me say. Ooh, crazy, yes, crazy, crazy. You are me, girl, you're me. Yes, crazy, yeah, swear chocolate I want buy. They say I love it, better make a man fight. Hey, for that girl, hold up. Who better than? Bring her my own, my girl fine like it at a bang. I like the way she boogie down. Give me booty bounce, make her elevator finance. Keep pushing and pressure, give her that girl later. Sharp like saber, my girl so fine. Give me that one. I like the way you twirl. You twirl in the Maybach. She really the A-list girl. She really my favorite girl. I'm loving the way you twirl. You twirl. Fresh up and it on me. You can't do it slowly. You're dirty wine, would you burn it for me? Take a picture in the shot sleeve. I had a feeling, one of the things. You'll be there, reason I stay. When you ain't girl, you make me say. Ooh, yeah, you're pretty, my girl. Turn up the night, turn up the dance floor. I should riding motorcycle. You know you got the kick in my drum. Ooh, I go do anything when consign my charges. Yeah, I go do anything when consign my charges. I wanna go there.
What a way to kick off our Wednesday edition of The Upside this afternoon on Channel Africa, The African Perspective. Darku and Des Dion giving you favorite gal. Do you have someone that you can call your favorite gal?
I do.
Who's your favorite gal? Yourself.
There's this woman who's trending on Twitter, and she does these little skits where she's like the liar in her group of friends.
Okay.
And every time she asks a question, oh, do you know President Obama? And then they're like, yeah, we know who President Obama is, Jamie. And she's like, he's my uncle. And she always points at herself like it's the cutest thing. So yes, I'm my favorite girl today.
Is she actually Obama's relative?
No, of course not.
Okay.
She's just
she's
the liar in the friend
just
group.
Just for clarity.
Okay, so here we are looking at a destination that could be novel to you as much as it is to us. Okay, we're talking about Mazeppa Bay, which is one of the Eastern Cape's hidden gems along the Wild Coast. And well, we're stepping into the spotlight with the unveiling of new information sign at the view of Mazeppa Bay Hotel, as it's known. So this is an initiative that highlights the bay's rich cultural and historical connections that stretch from South Africa all the way to the Ukraine, while also opening doors to new tourism opportunities. Very, very exciting. So as we understand it, visitors will not only discover breathtaking scenery, but also the deep heritage of other pleasant spaces where tradition, resilience, ancestral stories, and where we can actually weave the land and the sea. So that's very exciting to acknowledge, and we are going to be looking at this and unpacking this further, speaking to Zvenka Kashir, who is co-founder of the NPO Ukraine Association of South Africa and vice president of the Ukrainian World Congress for the African continent.
Well, that's going to be an interesting conversation are we having that conversation in the second hour?
Are we doing it in the second hour?
Mazeppa. right? Because
I need a new pair of glasses.
No, don't worry about that. Mazepa, because we wanted to start off with the Braai brothers, who
Yes.
have a very interesting story about bringing heritage and the Braai culture in different spaces, different communities, in events, in private functions, in corporate functions, and just bringing that culture to life. Because in South Africa, braai is a thing. It's a culture unto itself. You think about gatherings, you think about coming together with your friends, and you get very excited about having a braai because it means food, and it means that we're going to have music, and it means that most likely there's going to be sport playing in the background. But since 2016, the Braai brothers have been bringing the authentic taste of South African braai to weddings, private functions, and major corporate events. It's founded by entrepreneurs Khabo Tefu and Rampete Rangata. The company has grown into a trusted mobile catering brand that travels wherever the celebration is, from townships and villages to cities and sports stadiums. Their smoke and flame have become part of milestones across Limpopo, Gauteng, and beyond. Let's get into conversation to find out a bit more about the Braai brothers. We are joined on the line by one of its founders, Khabo Tefu. Khabo, thank you so much for your time and welcome to The Upside.
Oh, how are you, sir? Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Let's talk about this. You know what? Let's explain to our lovely listeners who are perhaps listening from a different part of Africa. Maybe they're in North Africa, Khabo. Maybe they are in East or West Africa and they're not familiar with what a braai is. Walk us through what a braai really is.
Well, like you said in your intro, in South Africa, a braai is a type of celebration, catering celebration, where we enjoy our meat, mostly with pap and chakalaka as our sides and starch. That is the summary I can just say about braai now.
I'm very interested to find out about who you cater to. Okay, what type of events do Braai Brothers cater to? Because we're obviously in the Southern Hemisphere now, approaching the spring season. There's lots of conversation around barbecues and braais, as it were. So where do you cater?
So I'm very happy that you mentioned that we are entering into the summer in South Africa. So this is you could say, our best time to do our business. We do all kinds of events, especially during summer.
Mm-hmm.
Your year-end functions for corporate, your weddings, your birthday celebration, and sometimes we are even called to do after tears in South Africa. That happens a lot these days as a celebration. So to just summarize it, we do all types of events to cater people.
The taste of heritage on the move with the Braai brothers. We continue the conversation with one of the founders, Khabo Tefu, right after this. It's 20 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African Time.
Get Channel Africa on DSTV Audio Bouquet. Channel 802.
Você é fluente em português? É apaixonado por rádio e quer trabalhar na África do Sul? Você tem documentos que o qualificam para trabalhar na África do Sul? Nesse caso, podemos ter uma oportunidade para você trabalhar no Canal África. Envie seu currículo e demonstração para Canal África at newsroom@channelafrica.co.za. Lembre-se, se você não receber alguma resposta nossa em 14 dias, isso significa que você não foi selecionado. Canal África, a perspectiva africana.
We take no sides, none whatsoever. We are the Upside.
Well, let's continue our conversation with one of the founders of Braai Brothers, Khabo Tefu. Khabo, let's talk about a typical braai. What does it entail? Because for a lot of people, they have their own definition of what the ideal braai looks like. For some people, when they're talking about a braai, there's a certain way the fire must be lit. You can't use just charcoal. You must combine it with proper wood so that there's flavor and smoke. Everyone has their own version of what a perfect braai looks like. But what does an ideal braai look like for the Braai brothers?
For me, a typical South African braai for me, is when you first have people who are going to join you at the celebration. So the people form the best part of a bribe session. Then, of course, you have your meat, and normally a typical South African braai is your wors, your chicken, and steak. But sometimes you can have more. But your wors, steak, and chicken are the most common meats that you have with braai. That, to answer your question, for me, it's also about the people, the culture. We connect, rightfully, as you said in your intro, the music as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I love the thank you at the end. Well, thank you for coming up with this concept. Let's talk business just for a little bit, Khabo, and talk about, just the business of braai, but because as you're entering into some very interesting territory with the Braai Brothers. So besides catering, what other business expansions or opportunities are presented for Braai Brothers to pursue at this time?
So it is important that we give credit to the culture that we have in South Africa. Otherwise, the braai business was not going to be possible. So first, we find that the platform to have a braai business in South Africa is possible because of the rich culture behind the braai thing. So that is it's one of the most important things, that we have a culture of braaiing. Every day, everywhere, someone is braaiing. So that made it easy for us to enter into the catering world, but specialize in braaiing. So it's sort of like I isolated us from your normal catering. But then if someone is specifically looking for people who can braai at his or her event, then they call us. So the opportunities are there in South Africa, from both corporate clients and household clients. So because of the culture, the business becomes very possible to run in South Africa.
Khabo, why would someone choose Braai Brothers? And I ask this because you rightfully said that South Africa, Southern Africa, culture of braaiing. That means that there's always that one friend in the group or person in the family who knows how to braai. Why would we outsource this particular aspect of cultural celebration to a Braai Brothers? What sets you so far apart from anyone else?
Well, I think the dedication and commitment to offer you a service. You call us because on the day of your celebration, even if you know how to braai, but you'll be busy entertaining your guests, your clients. Perhaps it's a corporate event, so you don't want to get your hands dirty. So you call the guys like us to come and do the job for you while you relax and enjoy the celebration. That's why you call us.
Man, you know what? It's somebody to cook and make sure that we're fed while we get to enjoy. That sounds appealing enough. But I'm just wondering, Khabo, let's talk about just the variety of cultures that we find in South Africa. It's not just South Africans. There's people from all over the African continent here. Do you think about how you are going to cater towards the wide audience that you may appeal to? Because I'm thinking even just with the African salsas that are available, for example, in South Africa, chakalaka, our spicy vegetable relish that is so popular that goes with a traditional braai or barbecue, the piri piri from Angola and Mozambique, things like atadindin from Nigeria. Do you think about how to incorporate sort of other African food elements into your Braai Brothers menu?
Yes, you see, we mostly work in Gauteng. So Gauteng is so diverse that some of our clients come from the SADC and North Africa. So when we arrive there, they will let us know that they will prepare the starches and sides, and from that I have learned a lot. So it is still a learning curve as far as that is concerned, but we have been exposed to. Yes.
Gabo, what has been the responses and the reactions from the people who didn't really grow up with braais in their country? Maybe it's not part of their culture in that area. Those coming either from North Africa or even outside of Africa. Tell us what their response have been when they come to an event and the braai brothers were catering for that. How are they responding to the culture of braai in South Africa?
So it is, I'll tell you this, first of all, they are very impressed that, remember, this is braaiing, a simple idea that one can turn it into a business. We've been at it for 9 years. So their first impression is of that they are impressed that a simple thing can be turned into an idea, a business idea, and it works for 9 years. We're still struggling, but we are surviving. We're still in business. So they are impressed, and they will now. I remember one telling me about fish in their account. I think this guy was from Mozambique. You know, maybe he can do something of a sort, but with regard to fishing and everything. So what they are mostly impressed is turning a simple idea into a business and making a living out of it.
Okay, this is really fascinating. And, you know, I mean, I say this all the time. You can just never go wrong with food because we've all got to eat, and there's events, there's weddings, there's gatherings, birthday parties, celebration in the context of Africa as we see it now is really about it's food is central to our celebration. So you can never go wrong. I want to wish you all the best with braai brothers. Hopefully one day we can have an upside, I don't know, party or something, and you can come and cater for us. That would be so wonderful.
That would be nice. Thank you very much for hosting.
But where can we get some visuals to see the work that you do, get to acquaint ourselves with your dishes, and perhaps some booking details?
So I'm mostly on TikTok. TikTok is our most productive social media platform. Braai Brothers SA. So TikTok, Braai Brothers SA.
And Gabo, any plans of expansion very quickly into Africa, rest of South Africa? Any plans at the moment?
Currently, we are still trying to conquer South Africa. So until we find our footing in South Africa, I think we can think about going beyond borders. But currently, we're still in South Africa.
Well, we wish you all the best. Gabo, thank you so much for your time this afternoon on The Upside.
Thank you very much for having me.
The voice of Gabo Tefu, one of the founders of Braai Brothers. They've been in business now since 2016, bringing the taste of heritage and culture to the various parts of Gauteng at the moment, and he's hoping that they will expand, and as they find their footing, bring it, take it everywhere. Can you imagine Braai Brothers in Angola, Braai Brothers in Morocco, Braai Brothers in Nigeria,
in Ethiopia with the better salsa next to it. So good.
In
so
Mozambique
good.
with the fishy there. Oh,
right.
Come on now. All the best to the Braai Brothers. Check them out on TikTok. As he said, they are most active there. It's 30 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time. Let's get the latest in sports with Musibudi Makura.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Thank you so much, Tebogo. We'll start here. Sudan as well as Senegal both advanced to the quarterfinals of the Total Energies African Nations Chan tournament. This after playing out to a tense goalless draw at Zanzibar's Amman Stadium on Tuesday night. That result ensured now that Sudan topped Group D on goal difference, with the holders Senegal progressing in second place. At the same time, Nigeria defeated Congo by 2-0 in Dar es Salaam, but the Super Eagles' late push was not enough to dislodge the two unbeaten sides. So the draw has now set up a tantalizing last 8 lineup. So Sudan will remain in Zanzibar. They'll face off with Algeria in their quarterfinal match, with Senegal travelling all the way to Kampala to meet with the co-host Uganda for a place in the semi-finals of the CAF Nations Championship tournament. While Africa's football governing bodies, CAF's head of television as well as broadcasting, Luxolo September, has urged Africans to prioritize their own leagues ahead of the European ones. Now, Kenya, Tanzania as well as Uganda are currently co-hosting the 2024 edition of the African Nations CHAN tournament. On the matter of the Kenya's league in particular, September has stressed the importance of improving its structures as well as administration to build on the momentum created by this CHAN tournament. Now, September also called for Africans to reduce their overindulgence on European football. On to rugby news now. The Women's Rugby World Cup final at Twickenham Stadium has sold out, making it likely to be the biggest ever crowd for a once-off women's rugby match. The current record was also set in Twickenham Stadium, at the Twickenham Stadium, which has a capacity, should I say, of 82,000, with about 58,498 having watched England beat France in the 2023 Six Nations event. At Paris in 2024, 66,000 watched the opening day of the Women's Rugby Sevens at the Stade de France, and across the 32-team tournament, which officially gets underway on Friday, 375,000 of the 470,000 tickets have already been sold, which is 3 times the number sold at the last World Cup hosted in New Zealand back in 2021. Meanwhile, World Rugby also confirmed on Tuesday that the World Cup's 4 semi-finalists will then automatically qualify for the 2029 edition that is set to be hosted by Australia. Meanwhile, South Africa's national women's rugby team will face off with Brazil in their opening match of the Women's Rugby World Cup this coming Sunday. The South Americans have been victorious in 3 previous encounters against the South African side, despite brave efforts from especially the Bok woman utility player Nadine Rus, who scored some spectacular tries against the team in yellow. This time, however, player in a different code, Rus now said she's now determined that a different result will follow as the Bok went through their paces at the training base in Cateran, a short drive from Sunday's match venue in Northampton.
Yes, I think definitely on the 7th circuit, I had the ability to punish them quite a few times, but also, the ability of the team to also support and help and the contribution in that score. I would definitely want to replicate that in this code on the 15s and on the best, world stage that you can play at. And I would definitely want to punish them here as well, give them a little payback for being such good players as well.
And finally, in tennis news, Keshav Maharaj became the first South African spinner to take 300 wickets across all formats, which he took 5 on the first day, on the first one-day international against Australia in Cairns yesterday. So Maharaj's 5 for 33 earned South Africa a comprehensive 98 victory, which is also having earlier in the day having posted 296, having been put to bat first. The 35-year-old now has 304 wickets, 13 ahead of Imran Tahir, who currently sit on 291 wickets, and also says while the record is nice to have, he's more concerned about the team accolades than the individual accolades.
Yeah, it's special. I didn't know that, so thanks for that. But I think there's a lot more that I want to learn and a lot more for me to sort of achieve in my career, especially with the team, and try win more trophies together as a nation. So it's a nice feather to have the cap, and hopefully I can keep raising that bar for spinners coming through in our systems.
Right, so that concludes the sports news this hour. For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, simply send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +27 11714 4459. I'm back with more sports news in the next hour. For Channel Africa Sport, I am Mosibu Di Makura.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective. Get the news, music, and lifestyle of Africa on Channel Africa. The African perspective. Africa. It's time to plug into the heartbeat of the continent. Tune in to Channel Africa, your go-to radio station that broadcasts in 5 different languages.
L'Afrique du Sud célèbre la journée nationale du
Kabla hujaitwa kwa jina la double K
or more of our forests have been destroyed.
Partido Africano da Independência da Guiné.
See
Channel Africa represents every corner of this amazing land. From Lagos to Cape Town, Nairobi to Dakar, we've got you covered with the freshest news, music, and cultures. So, turn up the volume, feel the rhythm. Enjoy the conversation. Channel Africa, the African perspective.
37 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time. Let's get the latest in business news with Matapelo Mahape.
Business news on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Thank you, Tebogo, and good afternoon. Deputy Representative of UN Women Dr. Hazel Gooding has highlighted the transformative power of technology for women's empowerment at the ongoing Women's Month Dialogue hosted by the University of South Africa and the South African Women in Dialogue. She points out that although 70% of countries globally are boosting STEM and digital skills among women and girls, a critical gap remains in turning these educational gains into better jobs and economic opportunities. Dr. Gooding stresses the urgent need to close this gap and harness technology to create more inclusive and equitable pathways for women's advancement.
I'm sure you would all agree with me when I say that technology actually holds transformative power for women's empowerment. Yet we face a critical gap between promise and practice. Globally, data tell us that a notable 70% of countries are boosting science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, as well as digital skills among women and girls. However, we remain slow in translating these educational gains among women and girls for better jobs, for better economic opportunities, and I can go on and on.
Economists expect inflation to remain well contained despite an increase in the July consumer inflation. Independent economist Elise Kruger says the uptick in headline inflation is in line with market expectations. The annual consumer price index rose 3.5% in July. The main drivers to the headline inflation were food and non-alcoholic beverages and housing and utilities. Kruger elaborates.
Inflation for food and non-alcoholic beverages rose to 5.7% from 5.1% in this period. The rise in this category was mainly due to higher meat prices. On average, beef prices increased by 7.6% between June and July. Another driver to the annual inflation were municipal tariffs, which are adjusted annually in July. In this period, water and electricity tariffs increased by 12.1% and 10.6% respectively.
And South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa is facing legal pressure from the Association of Regional Magistrates of Southern Africa, AMSA, to implement a 34% salary increase of magistrates. The court challenges highlights a deepening tension between constitutional obligations to uphold judicial independence and the government's need to contain South Africa's ballooning public wage bill, now at just over $41.9 billion. Ian Cox is the president of AMSA.
The reason that I recommended it is because we have been wronged for the past approximately 15 years, where we constantly received salary increases below the inflation rate, and the increases has not kept up with the increase in our roles, responsibilities and workload in the judiciary as a whole.
And Kenya's economy is forecasted to grow 5.6% this year, despite the tariffs and other challenges, more than the 4.7% growth recorded last year. That was higher than the finance minister's forecast of 5.3% and the central bank's of 5.2%, both made in June. Until this now, Switzerland is focusing on strengthening its business location after facing high U.S. tariffs. The government aims to provide regulatory relief for Swiss companies with the possibility of reducing high cost for businesses. The new U.S. levies currently affect around 10% of Swiss goods exports and could have severe consequences for some companies. The government also emphasized the importance of geographical diversification and Swiss companies' access to alternative international markets. And look at your financial indicators. $1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,000 naira 533. In Botswana, it's a 13 pula 40. Kenya, the dollar is trading at 128 shilling 40. And in Zambia, it's at 23 kwacha 26. The BRICS countries, $1 in Brazil is trading at 5 real 46. Russia, it's 80 ruble 61. India, it's 87 rupees 10. In China, it's 7 yuan 18. And in South Africa, $1 is trading at 17 rands 64 cents. $1 is trading at 74 pence to the British pound and 85 to the euro. And look at your commodities. Gold is trading at $3,326 and platinum at $1,318 per ounce, while the Brent crude oil is at $66.42 a barrel. For any business stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business News, I am Matabula Mahape.
Business News on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
The KZN Convention Bureau, in collaboration with Millvest Advisory and the city of Mmatsheko, bring you the 2025 Tourism Investment Forum Africa. As a global platform for local action, the Tourism Investment Forum Africa aims to promote secondary and tertiary cities and regions as attractive investment and tourism hubs. Be part of the movement transforming tourism investment in Africa. Join us for the TIFA 2025 from the 27th to the 29th of August at Tembela venue in Richards Bay, KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa.
Channel Africa, your voice, your sound, and your home. Stay logged right here.
Take all my mind, take all the joy now, take me down, take all the love now, tie me away, burn me alive now, break me down right now. Now you wanna lock me away, I'm winning, you wanna add to my pain, I'm shining, now you won't come for my face, ideally we're not the same, no. So why you wanna try me, yeah try me, you're out to destroy me, you try to challenge me, you try to distract me, if I want the ganja, yeah, you bring the lighter, yeah, roll me a visa, and set me on fire, yeah. So I woke up in the night, broke out of my chains, staying alone, you don't know my name, you crossed the line, we will never die, this is where you went, ooh child, now you wanna lock me away, I'm winning, you wanna add to my bed, I'm shining, now you won't come for my face, ideally, we're not the same, no, so why you wanna try me, can't try me, you're out to destroy me, you try to challenge me, you try to distract me, if I want the ganja, you bring the lighter, yeah, roll me in visa, set me on fire, so you want to be me, but you can't, there's a fire in the sky, it's burning, and I'm always gonna keep running, yeah, so why you wanna take me, yeah, why you wanna try me, yeah, why you wanna take me, yeah, why you wanna try me, why you wanna try me, yeah, why you wanna try me, babe, tell me why you wanna try, yeah, why you wanna try, yeah, why you wanna try, tell me why you wanna try, why you wanna try me, why you wanna try me, yeah try me, how to destroy me, try to challenge me, challenge me, you try to distract me. If I was the ganja, you bring the lighter, roll me a vista, set me on fire.
The Upside, 1 to 4 p.m. Central African Time. With Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mosito. Only on Channel Africa. The African Perspective. The Upside. On the Upside. Your voice matters.
This is my place. This is my space. I was here first. Ooh, grab a seat, get comfortable. This is my place. This is my space. I was here first. Ooh, grab a seat, get comfortable. Did I suffer for another woman? Did I endure pain, inexplicable pain for another lady? No, baby, I'll be damned if I walk away just to let her have a taste of your love, my love, real love, built on my tears, pain, sweat, and blood. No, I'm never giving up. No, I'm never letting up. So I'm holding on, no letting go. So baby, grab a seat, get comfortable, 'cause this my place, my space. I was here first. Ooh, grab a seat, get comfortable. I call dibs on what is mine. She can't have you. You're my life, can't you see? I know we aren't meant to be, but there is something inside of me, and it won't budge, stays in my head. My patience is thin as a thread.
Cameroonian and American singer Libianca. Song is called My Place. Double play there. The first song we're listening to was from Thames, all the way from Nigeria, with Try Me. It's 10 minutes before 2 p.m. Central African Time. Let's take a quick breather. When we get back, I've got something on my mind.
We are on Open Views Audio Bouquet. Channel 628.
Zilipendwa na Abedi Jean de la Croix. Anaitwa Daniel Etienne Benson. Huyu alizaliwa mwaka 1997, ilikuwa Mei 14, na anajulikana kitaalamu kabisa kwa jina la muziki BNXN. Haya, ni mwanamuziki huyo, ni mwimbaji kutoka nchini Nigeria, mtunzi wa nyimbo na mtayarishaji wa record label. Ameshirikiana na Rema kwenye wimbo huu. Rema vile vile ni msanii kutoka huko nchini Nigeria. Zilipendwa kila Jumamosi kuanzia saa 12 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati hadi saa 1 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati.
The Upside. On the Upside. Your voice matters.
It's 9 minutes before 2 p.m. Central African Time. This is indeed The Upside on Channel Africa, the African perspective with Tebogo, Lekhuleni and Mmatsheko, Mosito. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon. Catch us live on our social media platforms where you can stream us from our lovely studio at the Auckland Park Studios in Johannesburg, South Africa, at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. Let us know where you are streaming us from. Anywhere around the world. Our WhatsApp line is +2763 406 9126. I was today years old when I found something out, Mmatsheko, and I realized that there are many things that we don't know. So, there is a popular soda drink, fizzy drink, in South Africa. Actually, throughout Africa, throughout the world. We in South Africa, we call it cream soda. Right. Have you ever had cream soda?
Many moons ago, but I know what you're talking about.
It's the green soda.
The green, very tasty soda drink. Yes.
Do you want to take a guess what the dominant flavor of cream soda is?
Vanilla?
I thought
Your
cream
face.
soda was in itself a flavor.
Right.
That's what I thought for a long time. You are right. The dominant flavor of cream soda is vanilla. 10 points to you.
Well done to me. If I
points to
still
you.
drank cream soda, you know you would have owed me a 10-pack after that reply.
I really
right?
would have. I really would
Yeah.
have. So, congratulations to you. I was today years old when I found this out. Because, like I said, I thought cream soda, that's green, it's green. Cream soda is a flavor unto itself.
Yes.
Until I found out today, cream soda is dominantly vanilla. And that the cream in cream soda
Is
they talk about
vanilla.
the smoothness and the velvetiness of the vanilla. In different countries around the world, there are variations of the cream soda. In South Africa, green, right? We have it green. It's a green soda. Most parts, most Southern African countries have it as green. But you head a bit north, and you go to Kenya and Tanzania in East Africa. The color of their cream soda is clear, like Sprite.
Interesting.
Or golden in color. You go to Nigeria, West Africa, you'll find it also clear and golden. In North Africa, although it's not a popular drink, but when you do find it, you'll find it clear and golden, right? If you go to Australia and New Zealand, cream soda there is pink. Pink. Though they do have the clear and the gold colors. And then you go to Japan, it's green, but it's melon flavored in Japan. In the Caribbean, Trinidad and Tobago, and Jamaica, the color of cream soda there is pink or red. In India and Pakistan, it's clear, golden, and in the Philippines, it's red. In the UK and the US, they also have clear, light brown, golden colors.
That is fascinating.
today years
didn't
old.
know that. I was today years old to find out that there are different variations of the same drink. But listen, I don't even have a desire because, cream soda was like the party drink. When we were children.
When we were children,
right?
yeah.
Birthday parties, like graduation parties, whatever it was when you were a child. And then there was, and on super special occasions, and if your parents were really sweet and kind, then you get a cream soda float.
Yes. And that's why it worked.
Yes, and they put ice cream on, vanilla ice cream on top, and then they put those colorful sprinkly thingies.
Yep.
Man, we had the best childhood. So I think
Nostalgia.
because I know about, and I've experienced cream soda since I was a little child, I'm really not interested in the pink one and the purple one and the clear.
Okay.
Just give me the green one. If I'm going to drink cream soda,
us
I
the
want
green
one
one.
that looks familiar. Because
Well,
then I know what it is.
As it turns out, familiar to us, because the other parts of the world, it's red, it's
Yes,
light.
they would
you
also
know.
think the green one is a bit odd.
It is a bit
Yeah.
odd, but some I was today years old there. And I hope that you'll share it with your friends and let them also know. Because remember those days when you went to Spur, those restaurants?
Yes.
You had that float or that milkshake. It was cream soda. Now, only to find out that the dominant flavor of that is vanilla. Shout out to you for knowing that.
Indeed it is. But I mean, you can smell it. You can taste it.
Me, I thought it was, but I can't. Me, it's cream soda.
You were like,
cream soda was itself.
What is the flavor you want? Cream
soda.
Zilipendwa
na Abedi Jean de la Croix.
Anaitwa Daniel Etienne Benson. Huyu alizaliwa mwaka 1997, ilikuwa Mei 14, na anajulikana kitaalamu kabisa kwa jina la muziki BNXN. Haya, ni mwanamuziki huyo, ni mwimbaji kutoka nchini Nigeria, mtunzi wa nyimbo na mtayarishaji wa record label. Ameshirikiana na Rema kwenye wimbo huu. Rema vile vile ni msanii kutoka huko nchini Nigeria.
Zilipendwa kila Jumamosi kuanzia saa 12 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati hadi saa 1 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati.
The Upside with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mosito, bringing Africa's voices to the world on Channel Africa, the African perspective.
Boss, I'm not coming to work today. I can't see. No, nothing wrong with my eyes. I just can't see myself coming to work today. Thank you. In other words, I ain't not doing one raw soul today. Don't tell me about work, I out on the road today. Me and some pretty beaches, I out on the boat today. I don't care what time of day it is, I'm drinking rum today. Having fun today. Yeah! Holiday. Today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not going to work today. Holiday. Today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not doing no work today. I'm on the road, yeah. To the beach, yeah. To the club, yeah. Pool party, bus crawl. Uptown, yeah. Downtown. If it's your birthday, turn up. Get drunk till your face get numb. When my crew they come around, drinks up and sing along. Holiday. Today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not going to work today. Holiday. Today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not doing no work today. Yeah, bring the vibes that we pump, and then we drink till we drunk. Pop bottles, you know we. The bar must bust when you see we touching. We drinking, some bad gal we linking. What up thickers, what up slim thing. Same timing, sing along with me if you agree, no man. Holiday, today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not going to work today. Holiday, today is a holiday. I don't care what nobody say. I'm not doing no work today.
I now know if I don't feel like coming to work, I'm not writing emails anymore. Just going to send management this song.
Oh, I love it for you.
Holiday, Problem Child with Juice J King. It's actually, it's a soundtrack for many. Let's be honest. I'm on holiday. Don't bother me. I'm on holiday. I don't feel like going to work today.
And also,
send them the song.
If you listen to the lyrics, it's also when you're in celebration, like if it's your birthday, you really don't want to be waking and sweating.
No one wants that.
You want to be fabulous. So when it's your birthday, this is a good soundtrack for your birthday. So, by the way, happy birthday to you if you are celebrating it today. It being the 20th of August, 2025. And it falls on a waning crescent moon. So you are a blessed child. Is all we're going to tell you. It's 2 p.m. in Central African time. Let's check in with the news desk. Onele standing by.
SABC News. The African perspective.
Thank you, Mmatsheko. Looking at your top stories, a buzz in Uganda as key opposition collects presidential nomination forms, and Pakistani city of Karachi declares an emergency and public holiday. Your latest news. Greetings to our listeners. The political atmosphere in Uganda has intensified after key opposition figures and hundreds of citizens flocked to the Electoral Commission to collect presidential nomination forms ahead of the 2026 elections. Uganda is scheduled to hold its fifth multi-party election in January next year. Channel Africa correspondent in Uganda, Michael Arere.
183 aspiring candidates have picked nomination forms from the Electoral Commission office in order to vie for the presidential seat in the next year election slated on 12 January 2026. 8 out of the 183 aspiring candidates are females. 85% of the aspiring candidates are youth, and most of them have just completed Form 6, and majority have just graduated from universities. This big number tells you that there's something brewing up, and this is attributed to the people yearning for a change in leadership.
Meanwhile, Uganda says it has not reached any agreement with the United States to take in legal immigrants because it lacks necessary infrastructure to do so. On Tuesday, CBS News, citing internal documents, reported that Washington had reached deportation deals with Honduras and Uganda as part of its efforts to strike more agreements with countries that would accept migrants deported from the U.S. who were not their citizens. President Donald Trump aims to deport millions of immigrants in the U.S. illegally, and his administration has sought to increase removals to third countries. The non-governmental organization My Vote Count says it will write to South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa to request that he releases the full record of his reasons for signing into law amendments to the Political Funding Act earlier this month. Ramaphosa assented to doubling the upper limit of donations to political parties. The threshold for disclosure of donations is also up. This follows Parliament's passing of the regulations in May this year. The President has passed the legislation despite a pending Western Cape High Court judgment on the matter. The organisation had challenged the constitutionality of Public Funding Act, including the limits as well as the President's powers to make a final determination. The organisation's Joel Bregman explains.
We're obviously considering our options at the moment and chatting to our lawyers. But what we will be doing is writing to the President to ask him to release this information. PIA would be the formal process we might have to adopt, but we just are going to be requesting that he release this in the interest of transparency. There's PIA, there's also PAJA, the Administrative Justice Act. So we do have mechanisms through which we can approach this, but we are hoping in good faith that he will just make this public knowledge.
South Africa's Justice and Constitutional Development Minister Mmatsheko Kubai has encouraged women to occupy leadership positions in professions traditionally dominated by men. She delivered a keynote address at Women's Month Dialogue hosted by the University of South Africa and the South African Women in Dialogue at UNISA's main campus in Pretoria. The gathering has brought together over 200 women from civil society, faith communities, business and government. Kubai emphasized the challenges faced by young women in rising into leadership roles.
The first one, a lack of role models for women. Women have fewer opportunities to see women leaders that they can emulate because every sector, private, public and social, men dominate senior leadership positions. So our girl children are rising up, young women that we have are rising up having less people to look up to as leaders. What they have in front of them consistently is men who are in leadership position.
Lastly, the authorities in the Pakistani city of Karachi have declared an emergency and a public holiday following torrential monsoon rains which paralyzed the financial capital. At least 8 people have died due to flooding that has caused houses to collapse and brought down power lines. The BBC's Azadeh Moshiri.
Multiple people have died in Karachi from houses collapsing on top of them. Some have drowned, others were electrocuted. The City of Lights is dealing with power outages and gridlocked roads. The main underpasses are flooded. Karachi police have told the BBC they're responding to dozens of emergency calls and have been hauling vehicles from flooded streets. Residents have been warned heavy rains will continue.
Recapping on your top stories, the political atmosphere in Uganda has intensified after key opposition figures and hundreds of citizens flocked to the Electoral Commission to collect presidential nomination forms ahead of the 2026 elections. Channel Africa News, I'm Onele Tsinzi.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Seven minutes after 2 p.m. Central African Time. Welcome back to The Upside on Channel Africa, the African Perspective with Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mmatsheko Mosito. With you all the way to 4 p.m. Central African Time. We're still coming to you live from the Auckland Park Studios in Johannesburg, South Africa. Stream us live on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. DSTV 802, OpenView channel 628. And as always, you can go to www.channelafrica.co.za or just download that SABC Plus app so you can take us with you wherever you go. Mmatsheko, we're going to be talking about a bay, Mazeppa Bay in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. A hidden gem that neither you nor me knew about until today. We were today years old when we found out about Mazeppa Bay.
We were literally today.
How sad.
Plus years old when we found out. But I think what for me is interesting about the upcoming conversation on Mazeppa Bay, one of Eastern Cape's hidden gems, as we now see it and note it, is the historical connection between Mazeppa Bay in South Africa and the Ukraine. I thought that was a very interesting connection. Yeah. And also how that connection then filters into opportunity for tourism, you know, and possibly other opportunities that can springboard from the space of opening gates of tourism. So, I mean, that's just a big conversation and very, very interesting. So we're going to open up that conversation and really see what this potentiality unveils and sort of the cultural markings between South Africa and the Ukraine through Mazeppa Bay. So we're going to be unpacking this with Zvinka, who is the co-founder of an NPO known as the Ukraine Association of South Africa. And what I know about the Ukraine Association of South Africa is they have really just dedicated the work that they do to fostering those interactions. At an academic level, at a cultural level, they're always sort of, you know, hosting summits, whether it's online, you know, sort of interactions between the professors in the Ukraine and South Africa and civil society and all of that. So it's very interesting that we get to talk about this. So I'm very excited to speak to Zvinka about it.
Sticking to the Ukraine, did you see that the president of the Ukraine, Zelensky, no, he went back to the White House for a meeting with Trump.
Oh, yeah?
This time he was in a suit.
Never in a day.
Trump is such a bully, guys. Can we just say Trump
I
is such a
would pay
bully.
money to see him in a suit.
No, he was in a proper. No, he was dressed up properly.
Are you sure it's not AI?
No, it's not AI. Anyway, we'll have this conversation after the musical breather. It's 10 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African Time. Welcome to the golden hour of The Upside.
Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations from Wednesday 23rd of July for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and the whole country affected by gender-based violence. For all your favorite SABC radio stations, call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. Your afternoons just got even better, fresh and exciting. The Upside, hooking you up with today's news from an African perspective.
Anybody way won't fight you, may they come, they already know. I'll be right beside you, like the wall of Jericho. They don't know, they don't know, they don't know what's going on. Monagiso, my baby boo. I'll be a soldier for you, I'm getting better in Kung Fu. You should know I got you, and you don't need to guide me too. I'll be right beside you in anything that you do. If you ever need saving, I will be running to you, running to you. I'll be running to you, running to you. Anywhere that you go to, running to you. I'll be running to you, running to you. Anywhere that you go to.
When I'm looking for trouble, it's cause I know that I got you. Wanting more best everybody, and it's because of your kung fu. And anytime that I'm out of control, you hold me down, you never let go. Munagiso, my baby boo. See all the battles you'll be fighting, and I'll be right there with you. I may be small but I'm mighty, and I go running for you. And anybody ways happy, yes, no be you pull it happy, alright. And if I ever need saving, I'll be running to you.
Running to you.
Hey guys, so it's about 30 minutes before we have to go onto the show and go live, and we're just having our own little briefing session with the team. We've got our producer in the background, Mmatsheko. We've got my amazing co-host Mmatsheko Mosito.
Also, I'm not amazing.
We've got Mmatsheko that side, and we just just getting our ducks in a row for the show. Once we go live, there's no turning back. You make mistakes, we make them on air, but we try our best to prepare and ensure that we don't do that when we go on. And when we do, and we laugh about it, guys. Chike and Simi, running to you. Music all the way from West Africa this afternoon on The Upside. Thank you so much for tuning in to Channel Africa, the African perspective. It's the golden hour of the show, and which means on this Wednesday edition of the show, we talk all things tourism in this golden hour. If you'd like to interact with us and let us know where you're streaming us from, our WhatsApp line is +27 63 406 9126, or alternatively comment below on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube, and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. Let's talk about this collaboration and tourism opportunity between the Ukraine and South Africa. Very interesting.
Very interesting. And you know what's wonderful about the Upside is that we get to discover alongside you. So Mazepa Bay, I don't know if you've heard of it, but it is a gem in the Eastern Cape. Okay, we're talking here about the Wild Coast, and it looks like they're going to be stepping into the spotlight in the most phenomenal way because, as Tebogo has mentioned, we're looking at Mmatsheko Bay and through the lens of an initiative that basically highlights the bay's rich cultural and historical connections that stretch all the way from the Eastern Cape in South Africa to the Ukraine, and also opening doors and creating opportunity for tourism. All right. So as we understand it, visitors will not only discover breathtaking scenery, but also the deep heritage of other places and spaces where traditions, resilience, and ancestral stories are woven into the land as well as the sea. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about what this unveils, what this marks for cultural moments, for heritage moments with this destination. On the line with us, we have Zvinka Kachar, who is the co-founder of the NPO known as Ukraine Association of South Africa. She also serves as vice president of the Ukraine World Congress for the African continent. Zvinka, wonderful to have you back on Channel Africa. So wonderful to talk to you about wonderful opportunities. Let's talk about Mmatsheko Bay and the uniqueness of this destination, both locally and for international visitors as well.
Hello, Channel Africa. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So talk to us about Mmatsheko Bay and talk to us about the uniqueness of the destination, both for local and international visitors.
So Mmatsheko Bay is an extremely beautiful place on the Wild Coast, exactly like you've mentioned. It doesn't have only beaches and incredible fishing. And if any of your listeners around the continent or further are interested in warm waters, beautiful landscapes and history, they should definitely make their way to Mmatsheko Bay because people were settled there 100,000 years ago, and the East London Museum has documented the middens there from the Khoisan area, and also different rich isiXhosa history and traditions. But we also draw attention that the name of Mmatsheko brings together South Africa and Ukraine in a very unique way, because the name Mmatsheko comes, the surname Mmatsheko is of the Ukrainian leader from the 17th century, while Mmatsheko has never traveled to South Africa. His name, through poetry and through literature, travel all the way. So the story is that indeed, there is a historical person, Ivan Mmatsheko, from the 17th century, who celebrated freedom and did a lot to build the idea of the freedom in Ukraine. And then in a period of romanticism, many artists used his image in their writing. And his image, a little bit attached from the real person, because this is like artistic shadow that was taken by artists and turned into something else. And then this shadow traveled all the way to South Africa. So South African poets also wrote about Mmatsheko. So one of the poems that really promoted the name Mmatsheko in Western Europe and beyond was Byron. He wrote a poem that about Mmatsheko as an idea of freedom, idea of speed, and it became common to name ships Mmatsheko, and one of such ships was built in the 19th century. And then worked along South African coasts, and the name of Mmatsheko Bay already comes from the boat, but the name of the boat comes from this artistic shadow of Ivan Mmatsheko. So while complicated, we think that it definitely would attract those who are interested in literature, interested in poetry, and interested to learn more about this connection that Ukraine and South Africa has in the small, beautiful place, Mmatsheko Bay.
It's 20 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African time. We continue the conversation with Zvinka Kacher, co-founder of the Ukrainian Association of South Africa and vice president of the Ukrainian World Congress for Africa, to tell us about this new unveiling of a new information sign at the View Mazepa Bay Hotel, the relationship between South Africa and the Ukraine. We continue with the conversation right after this.
Midday vibes, great programming, and good company. This is Channel Africa. Hi there. Do you want to elevate your business and give it a voice in South Africa and Africa as a whole? Well, in that case, let Channel Africa make this a possibility. Channel Africa is willing to advertise your business for as little as 30,000 rands or $1,719.18. To get access to these great rates, send all requests to mukwenata@SABC. That's MOKOENATA@SABC. Channel Africa, the African perspective. Mmatsheko Mosito and Tebogo Lekhuleni on the upside.
21 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African time. Now, one of the Eastern Cape's hidden gems, Mazepa Bay, is stepping into the spotlight with the unveiling of a new information sign at the View Mazepa Bay Hotel. And to tell us a bit more about the collaboration and the relationship, the history shared between Ukraine and South Africa, in this particular region of South Africa, we are joined by Zvinka Kacher, co-founder of the Ukrainian Association of South Africa and vice president of the Ukrainian World Congress for Africa. Zvinka, let's talk about this unveiling of this information sign. Tell us about the sign itself. What will it look like? What information will it contain? And how is this information being used to preserve culture and heritage between the two regions?
Thank you. So the sign will feature the beauty of the wild coast. You'll be able to see the sea, and there is also a schooner, the Mazepa schooner, that gave the name for Mazepa Bay, as well as in the wave. The wave are incorporating the portrait of Ivan Mazepa, and on the right side there is like an arch. And on that arch, there will be a word freedom. There is word freedom written in 11 South African languages and also in the Ukrainian, as freedom is something that unites all the topic of all those stories of Ivan Mazepa, of Mazepa Shune, and of also people who live on this area and take pride of this area. So there is also an QR code, so people would be able to read more. They would be able to read the different poems. They would be able to read the history as well as information about the maidens and how the story of a little bit of a story of this area.
This is fascinating, Zvinka, but I'm really interested because obviously this is now opens up opportunity for more and more people to know about Mazepa, which is actually forms part of the Ngoma local municipality in the Eastern Cape. And speaking of the local community in Ngoma, let's talk about how this particular, project is going to impact the locals. What programs, what initiatives do you have that are going to impact the student community, for example, little children that go to school? How are they going to benefit from this brand new revelation of the information sign, and perhaps other work and economic and social opportunities for the locals?
Thank you. So Umasipala Umpuma is largely depending on tourism opportunities. The View Mazepa Bay Hotel is one of the key drivers for local economy. It's not largely populated. There are 26 permanent people who are employed in the hotel, but the hotel has 100 rooms, so there are many more opportunities. And those who followed the Mazeppa Bay story know that this is a state-owned hotel that is managed by Eastern Cape Development Corporation, and since last year, it's led by the local businesswoman from Tata, who is leasing it and wants to bring it back to life. So we are confident that because it's locally driven initiative, because there is such a strong connection to the area, it would definitely benefit the local households. At the moment, the critical challenge remains that the infrastructure to get to the hotel remains quite poor, and we really hope that by bringing more attention to the area, we will also draw attention to any opportunities that can help to develop the infrastructure.
Absolutely. Zvinka, let's talk about the sign as it stands right now. Is it up, or are we still waiting for the sign to be unveiled? Or just give us the dates, rather, I think that would be ideal. The dates when it will be unveiled and when people can start going down to Mazeppa Bay to start experiencing the area and also the stories and the poetries and the history.
So the unveiling will be happening at the first week of September, and anyone can visit then the Mazeppa Bay and go to the hotel where you can taste different dishes and enjoy the view, the beautiful view of the area.
All right, Zvinka, thank you so much. I think perhaps, just for me, I think in finality, perhaps if you could just reiterate the partnership between South Africa and the Ukraine through the unveiling of the sign. I think that's important to also establish and understand going forward. Perhaps there's something that we may have missed there.
No, so I think the partnership is in the sense that not many people know that this geographical location has a connection to Ukraine. Because when we were asking people, do you know where Mazeppa Bay comes from? And it's this hotel is like an institution. People were there going for decades. The same families would go. It's very, very famous for fishing. It attracts lots of people to go, but people wouldn't know where that name comes from. So we hope that by explaining the connections between Ukraine and South Africa, we will revitalize. Because very often people say, oh, this must be a Zulu name, even it's isiXhosa area. So we hope that this will also draw attention for people to learn about the literature, about poetry, and how it connects different countries like Ukraine and South Africa.
And besides the literature, the poetries, and also the fishing that you mentioned, what other activities that first-time visitors can expect to experience there in Mazeppa Bay?
So I think you can do kayaking. You can also do a lot of walks along the coast. There are a few very famous multiple days walks that one can do in the area. But also there are dunes, so you can go sand sliding for those who are more adventurous and physically able to do that. So there is all the fun that the sand, beach, and very hospitable people can bring.
This sounds extraordinary, and I think what's really interesting and fascinating for me is to learn about, just the history of Ivan Mazeppa, and I mean, this is history that dates back to the 16th century. So it is a long
17th.
17th century, I beg your pardon. So it is a long, long, long history that one can explore. But all the best for this particular unveiling, Zvinka. I think, just your work through the association, the Ukrainian Association of South Africa, is really building bridges on an international scale. And I'm very excited for the Mngoma community who are going to benefit most from the unveiling of the sign. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Mmatsheko and Tebogo. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Interesting, hey. And also the imagery of Mazepa. I mean, it is so beautiful, picturesque. It looks like a postcard.
I saw the pictures. I think she was spot on with the naming, because when we first saw the name, we were like, Mazepa. Yeah, it could be. Maybe it could be an African name or someone's surname, but we didn't know that it's a Ukrainian surname. But now we know a bit more. So that first week of September, you have to make your way down to the Mazepa Bay Hotel for the unveiling of this sign. It's 30 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African time. Let's get the latest in sports with Musibudi Makura.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Thank you, Tebogo. Very good afternoon from the Sports Desk. We'll start with rugby news. So South Africa have added a date with Japan at London's Wembley Stadium to their Autumn International Series, with the fixture set to take place on the 1st of November in a rematch of the iconic game from the 2015 Rugby World Cup. Now, coach Eddie Jones' Japan famously defeated South Africa at 34-32 and what was dubbed the Miracle of Brighton, though the Springboks exacted that revenge by also knocking the Asian side out of their own World Cup on their way to lifting the trophy back in 2019. So the Springboks will also face France in Paris the following week before travelling then to Italy on the 15th of November, Ireland on the 22nd of November, and then Wales on the 29th of November on an unprecedented 5-match tour. South Africa also meet Argentina at Twickenham Stadium in their final game of this year's Rugby Championship. This will be played on the 4th of October. Well, South Africa's national women's rugby team will face Brazil in their opening match of the Women's Rugby World Cup this coming Sunday. The South Americans, though, have been victorious in 3 previous encounters against the South Africans, despite brave efforts from especially the Bok utility woman player Nadine Roos, who scored some spectacular tries against the team in yellow. This time, however, playing in a different code, Roos said she's determined that a different result will follow as the Bok women went through their paces at a training base in Kettering, a short drive away from Sunday's match venue in Northampton.
Yes, I think definitely on the 7th circuit, I had the ability to punish them quite a few times, but also, the ability of the team to also support and help and the contribution in that score. I would definitely want to replicate that in this code on the 15th and on the best, world stage that you can play at. And I would definitely want to punish them here as well, give them a little payback for being such good players as well.
On to some tennis news now. The world number 1 Jannik Sinner, who was forced to retire during the final of the Cincinnati Open, and playing partner Katerina Siniakova have been removed from the US Open mixed draw doubles. Now, the withdrawal comes a day after illness had forced Sinner to concede defeat to great rival Carlos Alcaraz. This after going down 5-love in the first set of the Cincinnati Open final on Monday. Now, the 24-year-old did not speak to journalists after the loss, issuing a statement saying that he would definitely play at the US Open in New York, where the singles main draw starts officially on Sunday. Of course, the US Open is the last Grand Slam tournament of the year, where he'll be hoping, in winning this year's competition, and likely maybe to face his greatest rival as well in that final coming up in 2 weeks' time. India's government have introduced a parliamentary bill on Wednesday to ban online gambling, citing concerns over addiction, financial harm, as well as potential links to money laundering as well as terrorism financing. The move could also threaten a multi-billion-dollar industry that includes online poker platforms to fantasy sports, as well as India's widely popular homegrown fantasy cricket apps, some of which sponsor the Indian Premier League as well as the national team. Now, the bill tabled in the lower house of Parliament aims now to stop websites as well as apps from offering games that are played by a user paying fees or depositing money or other stakes, with the exception of winning money. So if passed, the law would then impose jail terms or fines on individuals as well as companies offering online money gaming services. Well, that's a wrap from the sports desk at this hour. For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, please send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za. Alternatively, give us a call. The newsroom line is +27 11714 4459. I'm back with more sports news in the next hour. For Channel Africa Sport, I am Musibudi Makura.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective. Africa. It's time to plug into the heartbeat of the continent. Tune in to Channel Africa, your go-to radio station that broadcasts in 5 different languages.
L'Afrique du Sud célèbre la journée nationale du
Kabla hujaitwa kwa jina la Double K
or more of our forests have been destroyed.
Partido Africano da Independência da Guiné.
See, Channel Africa represents every corner of this amazing land. From Lagos to Cape Town, Nairobi to Dakar, we've got you covered with the freshest news, music, and cultures. So, turn up the volume, feel the rhythm. And join the conversation. Channel Africa, the African perspective.
36 minutes after 2 p.m. Central African time. I'm ahead of time. I'm ahead today. And it's now time for us to find out what's happening in the world of business with Matapelo Mahape.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Thank you, Tebogo, and good afternoon. Uganda is in talks with development finance institutions and credit export agencies to have 85% of a planned railway project financed with debt amid concerns over an already high public debt pile. Turkey's Yapi Merkezi won the contract to build the $3.15 billion railway in October last year, and preliminary works have begun. Some of the potential financiers include the OPEC Fund for International Development, Africa Development Bank, Islamic Development Bank, and some European export credit agencies. It's reported that debt financing talks were in advanced stages and expected to be completed soon. The legal representative of the Bank of America in the rand manipulation case has argued that foreign banks should not be implicated in rand rigging by merely being a member of the instant chat rooms where traders conspired. The bank's senior counsel, Paul Farlam, further urges that the Competition Commission has not been able to show that there is a personal jurisdiction on adequate connecting factors between the foreign banks and the local banks to justify collusion. Presenting and responding arguments in the Constitutional Court SC in Johannesburg, South Africa, Farlam says the rand conspiracy argument is further weakened by the fact that other currencies were implicated in chat rooms.
Their argument is because we were in the old kids chat room, therefore we knew or could reasonably be regarded as knowing that there was a worldwide SOC involving South African traders, and so we submitted that if the oil gas chat room has good and bad, malign and benign purposes, and it's involved in they're trading a number of different currencies, you can't initially then conclude that because you joined the oil gas chat room, you automatically had a malign intent.
A non-profit social enterprise, Harambee Youth Employment Accelerator, which connects young people to jobs and job opportunities in South Africa, says that the job market needs to address the barriers that keep young women and youth out of employment. The organization shared this at the Women's Month Media Day event in Johannesburg. Head of research at the enterprise, Victoria Duncan, adds that young people face a few barriers to labour market participation, like data cost and transport, but women face added barriers.
Women experience additional barriers in terms of safety, in terms of the disproportionate responsibility of unpaid care work. And so when employers think about how they're wanting to structure work to make it inclusive, by meeting women where they are and addressing these barriers by providing flexible work or providing transport solutions or decent earnings, they are in fact actually breaking barriers for all young people. So everyone is benefiting.
Economists expect inflation to remain well contained despite an increase in the July consumer inflation. Independent economist Les Kruger says the uptick in headline inflation is in line with market expectations. The annual consumer price index rose to 3.5% in July. The main drivers to the headline inflation were food and non-alcoholic beverages and housing and utilities. Kruger elaborates.
Inflation for food and non-alcoholic beverages rose to 5.7% from 5.1% in this period. The rise in this category was mainly due to higher meat prices. On average, beef prices increased by 7.6% between June and July. Another driver to the annual inflation were municipal tariffs, which are adjusted annually in July. In this period, water and electricity tariffs increased by 12.1% and 10.6% respectively.
Oil prices at the American Petroleum Institute reported a drop in U.S. crude inventories, and investors awaited the next steps in talks to end the Ukraine war, with sanctions on Russian crude remaining in place for now. Crude fell more than 1% yesterday on optimism that an agreement to end the war seemed closer. However, U.S. President Donald Trump conceded that Russian President Vladimir Putin might not want to make a deal. A look at your financial indicators. $1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,000 naira 533. In Botswana, it's 13 pula 40. Kenya, the dollar is trading at 128 shilling 40, and in Zambia, it's 23 kwacha 26. The BRICS countries, $1 in Brazil is trading at 5 real 46. Russia is 80 ruble 61. India, it's 87 rupees 10. In China, it's 7 yuan 18. And in South Africa, $1 is trading at 17 rand 64 cents. The dollar is trading at 74 pence to the British pound and 85 to the euro. A look at your commodities. Gold is trading at $3,330 and platinum at $1,320 per ounce, while the price of Brent crude oil is at $66.50 a barrel. For any business stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business News, I am Mmatsheko.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Zilipendwa na Abedi Jean de la Croix.
Mara ya kwanza kabisa uliingia studio ulikuwa ni mwaka gani?
Nakumbuka mara kwanza nimeingia studio hapa South Africa.
Vizuri sana.
Ilikuwa ni mwaka wa 2016-17 kama sisahau.
Swali kidogo la kizushi hivi hapo Durban watu wanafahamu kama wewe ni mwanamuziki?
Hapa Durban watu wengi wananifahamu kwamba mimi ni msanii ambaye anafanya vyema kwenye mambo ya muziki.
Okay, vizuri sana. Hongera sana kwa hilo. Naam, tuzungumzie sasa albamu yako ambayo unapanga kuitoa hivi karibuni. Albamu unatoa lini?
Albamu itakuwa available, itakuwa tayari next week Saturday, itakuwa tayari.
Albamu inaenda na ngoma ngapi?
Albamu inaenda na muziki 17.
Zilipendwa kila Jumamosi kuanzia saa 12 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati hadi saa 1 kamili majira ya Afrika ya Kati.
The Upside. On the Upside, your voice matters.
I really need time. cannot buy. Send me a love that you cannot mix. One is the joy that you cannot waste, and the other one price that you cannot fix. This is the peace that you cannot buy. Finding a way when you cannot see. Man with this system, he cannot pray. I need to find relief. But behind my mind, it rhymes. All these thoughts have trouble names. Funny to give up my pain. Funny to be on my lane. My mind running to the other side. When it's time to leave my life, then it tries to take me out. Tell you what I need, right? Yeah, I really need my love. I really need a free mind. I really need your love. I need to free my mind now. I really need time now. I really need to free my now. I really need time now. Oh yeah, just set me free, freer than the open mind, farther than the eyes can handle, freer than the ocean now. Yeah, yeah, so set me free. Now I need to find release. Set me to the open sky. Now I need to free my mind. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, I don't, yeah, oh no. I might be falling deep. 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 Tell me now what you need. I've been going to God when I'm only in my mind. I might be falling deep. Falling deep. I might be falling.
Free Mind, Thames. If you're a Thames fan today on The Upside, I'm sure you've been enjoying the show because she's featured quite a few times on the show. Beautiful music coming to you on The Upside this afternoon. It's now time for What Caught Your Eye. And before we get into that, I'll share my What Caught Your Eye after we take our little breather. Mmatsheko is going to share hers. There's an interesting survey that was done. I don't know by whom, because, it's a very interesting one. There was a recent global survey, and they were ranking the most miserable country in the world. Okay? And the researchers were pointing to economic pressures, costs of living, political uncertainty, decline in public services as the key drivers to rank these countries. There are 2 African countries that feature on the top 10, or in the top 10. At number 10, I'm just going to quickly go through them. Yemen is number 10. Most miserable country, most miserable, with the most miserable people and service delivery and political unrest and uncertainty and so on and so forth. Yemen is number 10. Iraq is number 9. Ireland is number 8. Egypt is number 7.
Interesting.
Australia is number 6. 5 is Tajikistan. 4, Brazil. Then we get into the top 3.
Brazil is miserable?
Apparently. Top 3, South Africa. Number 2, United Kingdom. And number 1, Uzbekistan, ranked as the most miserable country in the world. I don't know who they asked, because when they said, when I saw South Africa there, I was like, I'm not miserable. I'm very happy. I don't know who they asked. Maybe they went to those. Do you think they went to those Americaners there in America who left?
Listen, they definitely didn't go on safari with you. That's a fact. You know, whoever put together that research is a miserable human being. How did you swap Yemen and Kazakhstan in that manner? Let's start there. Okay. And also, how are we in the top 3? Are you joking me? So we surpass all the countries that are experiencing famine and war and
Thank you very much.
You know, we were surpassing all of that.
Thank you very much. So this is not a study that we must trust and believe. There's no way, because I'm sure right now many South Africans listening to this, would you agree that South Africa is the third most miserable country in the world? There's no way. They asked the wrong people. They must come back. We'll start again. It's 10 minutes before 3 p.m. Central African time. What caught your eyes coming up next?
The Morning Switch Weekend with the Shy Guy.
Just the other day, I went to pick up my daughter from school, and as per usual, her friends don't usually come to my car just to say hellos and goodbyes. So this particular day, they made this comment about my jacket, saying that it's giving baddie vibes.
You say my jacket is giving what?
It's giving baddie vibes. It got me thinking, where did the baddies come from? Because nothing is new under the sun, as it is said. I was like, oh yes, remember the Kenyan parliamentarian? Her name is Millie Odhiambo.
When you are urging me to be a good example to the girls, the younger ones who are doing their first term, Mr. Speaker, if they are good girls, they'll never get corner office. Be as bad as Millie Odhiambo, you will be the mother of this house. So do not be cheated like the African culture, where you are told have decorum, be nice. I'm telling you, you will go nowhere. Be a bad girl like me.
And I thought to myself, that is the original Betty.
Saturday and Sunday mornings belong to the Morning Switch. 3 to 6 a.m. Central African time. Tune in and turn up the volume. This is Channel Africa.
It's 9 minutes before 3 p.m. Central African time. It's time for What Caught Your Eye. Mine is going to be very brief.
Tell us.
Today, very brief. We go to sport in South Africa with the Premier Soccer League in South Africa.
Oh, yes.
There's this thing that when Kaizer Chiefs wins any game, when they win, everyone must know about it. It must be viral on social media. Yo, Kaizer Chiefs doing well, great start, hey, Kaizer Chiefs. I tell you what, they are currently ranked on the Premier Soccer League, the South African Premier Soccer League. They're ranked number 2. This is after just 3 games. They've won all 3 of their games, including last night's game against Richards Bay. Brilliant. But the fact that Kaizer Chiefs fans must let you know that we are winning. We are winning the whole way. Everyone must stop what they're doing. Kaizer Chiefs have won. So, I want to know from you, give us your predictions. Where will Kaizer Chiefs end on the log, on the table, in this year's 2025-2026 Premier Soccer League in South Africa? Currently, like I said, after just 3 games, they are number 2 after Sekhukhune United. And I want to reflect back on previous years, their positionings in previous seasons. In 24-25, they were number 9. After playing 28 games, they won only about 8. They drew 8 and they lost about 12. In the 23-24 season, they were number 10. In the 2022-2023 season, they were number 5. Okay. And 21-22 season, they were number 5. The team that has been leading and winning the league year in, year out have been consistently Mamelodi Sundowns. Okay, by the way, they are playing tonight. So I want to know, where will Kaizer Chiefs end at this year's South African Premier Soccer League? Do you think that they will maintain this good start throughout the rest of the season, or are we celebrating too soon? And by we, I mean Kaizer Chiefs fans who always let you know when they've won. Everyone must stop doing what they're doing. So let me know if you're a fan, if you're a South African football fan, anywhere around the world. Where will Kaizer Chiefs end this season? What do you think?
Well, I have no idea, but I saw somebody. Really, I don't. But somebody was saying on one of the social media platforms that Kaizer Chiefs will get excited about every win because it doesn't happen often. And I was like, ouch. No,
don't say it like that.
Ouch.
That's mean.
That is actually really so horrible.
But let's look at the facts. No, let's look at the facts. When last did they end up?
Oh my goodness.
When last did Kaizer Chiefs end up in the top 3 in the league?
No, I think we're going to have to think a little bit harder.
The highest,
about that
the
one.
highest position in just these ones that I've just mentioned up until 21-22 season was 5th position. When last did they crack the top 3? At least a bronze-nyana medal for the season. So that's what I'm saying. Let me not be a naysayer. What are your predictions? Which position will Kaizer Chiefs end up on the table of the South African Premier Soccer League? Will it be a top 3 this time? Will they actually win? Let us know on our WhatsApp line, +276 3406 9126. Or alternatively, check us out on our TikTok account at Channel Africa 1.
Okay.
All right. What caught your eye, ma'am?
Well, I'm actually on a website called clubofmozambique.com. And this is a revelation that's not going to surprise you and I, because we actually had this conversation not so long ago off the record. Interesting to note that luxury tourism in Africa often fails to benefit locals. This is according to new research. Okay. We know this. We know, you and I know this. Yeah. But this, just to keep it short, this recent research reveals that luxury tourism on the African continent often fails to benefit local communities. Many high-end resorts and eco-lodges are owned by foreign companies and operate independently of nearby villages, which then means that there is limited local employment, and then that means that there's a significant economic leakage as a consequence, right? So in some cases, indigenous groups like the Maasai face displacement. Wow. And environmental harm is caused due to tourism development. So the locals are absolutely nowhere to be found when there's tourism development at a large scale. So while some resorts are actually making efforts to support local people and conservation, overall, the benefit of luxury tourism on the African continent remains unevenly distributed, often favoring the foreign investor over the local population. This is a huge problem. And I think for me, what makes me so sad is the fact that luxury tourism does hold great potential and promise for our economic growth. Yeah. That is where our money is as the locals. But it can only happen if we embrace the genuine community involvement, you know, to make it a sustainable practice. Because where is all the knowledge? And I think the example of the Maasai is a wonderful example. If you're getting rid of all the people that carry the history and the heritage of whatever it is that is making the place attractive in the first place, then what are you doing?
What are you actually experiencing?
You know? So yeah, I think it's one to really pay attention to.
It's a very sad one, isn't it? Not too long ago, I was at a private reserve, and I was in a luxury lodge.
Yes.
Right. And it was one of those places, when you look at the price point, and we've had this conversation many times, people commenting, giving their personal, perceptions on the matter, saying that there aren't any local rates. All the rates, especially when it comes to luxury safari experiences, they are catered to the international market. For them, $1,000 is nothing a night. For the local, $1,000, like I have to save for a whole 6 months. I can't even go and experience a luxury safari in my own country because that market is created for the internationals. That lodge that I was in, it was all inclusive. Food, everything, your game drives, luxury accommodation, but the price point, it was not. It's not a price point that the local could come and enjoy. So yes, I don't know who needs to step in to monitor and sort of enforce change in those spaces, because the luxury market, safari market in Africa is alive, but it needs to be alive for the locals as well, and 100%. They need to benefit. It can't just be for the international. So I 150% agree that it needs to be looked at, and it can be a big problem if we just cater to the international market.
And by the time you've saved up for that luxury resort, you don't even want to go anymore. Because why should it take you 6 months to a year to save up, just to take your wonderful family to go and experience this. It shouldn't be that way. So perhaps a conversation we can explore in the latter part of the month. Let us know what your thoughts are in the meantime, whenever you get to see this edition of the show. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, so we are fast approaching the grand finale of the show, just after 3 p.m. So stay tuned. Right now, though, we're going to cross to the news desk. Onele Nzinzi standing by with the latest.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
Thank you, Mmatsheko. Looking at your top stories, a buzz in Uganda as key opposition collects presidential nomination forms, and Myanmar's military rulers capture key town from rebel forces. Your latest news. Greetings to our listeners. The political atmosphere in Uganda has intensified after key opposition figures and hundreds of citizens flocked to the Electoral Commission to collect presidential nomination forms ahead of the 2026 elections. Uganda is scheduled to hold its first multi-party elections in January next year. Channel Africa correspondent in Uganda, Michael Arere.
183 aspiring candidates have picked nomination forms from the Electoral Commission office in order to vie for the presidential seat in the next year election slated on 12th January 2026. 8 out of the 183 aspiring candidates are females. 85% of the aspiring candidates are youth, and most of them have just completed Form 6, and majority have just graduated from universities. This big number tells you that there is something brewing up, and this is attributed to the people yearning for a change in leadership.
Meanwhile, Uganda says it has not reached any agreement with the United States to take in illegal immigrants because it lacks necessary infrastructure to do so. On Tuesday, CBS News, citing internal documents, reported that Washington had reached deportation deals with Honduras and Uganda as part of its efforts to strike more agreements with countries that would accept migrants deported from the U.S. who were not their citizens. President Donald Trump aims to deport millions of immigrants in the U.S. illegally, and his administration has sought to increase removals to third countries. The non-governmental organization My Vote Count says it will write to South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa to request that he releases the full record of his reasons for signing into law amendments to the Political Funding Act earlier this month. Ramaphosa assented to doubling the upper limit of donations to political parties. The threshold for disclosure of donations is also up. This follows Parliament's passing of the regulations in May this year. The President has passed the legislation despite a pending Western Cape High Court judgment on the matter. The organization had challenged the constitutionality of public funding acts, including the limits as well as President's powers to make a final determination. The organization's Joel Bragman.
We're obviously considering our options at the moment and chatting to our lawyers. But what we will be doing is writing to the President to ask him to release this information. PIA would be the formal process we might have to adopt, but we just are going to be requesting that he release this in the interest of transparency. There's PIA, there's also PAJA, the Administrative Justice Act. So we do have mechanisms through which we can approach this, but we are hoping in good faith that he will just make this public knowledge.
The UN Women Deputy Representative Dr. Hazel Gooding says women's health, including mental well-being, is not a luxury but a necessity. She was speaking at the Women's North Dialogue underway in South Africa's capital, Pretoria, highlighting it as one of the 12 critical areas of the Beijing Declaration. Gooding stressed that proper nutrition, sexual and reproductive rights, freedom from violence and mental health are essential for women to realize their full potential.
Women's health is one of the 12 critical areas of the Beijing Declaration because women need to be healthy to realize our full potential. This includes proper nutrition, sexual and reproductive rights, freedom from violence, and mental health. Women's mental health and well-being are not luxuries. They are the foundation of activism, leadership, and care work.
Lastly, Myanmar's military rulers say they have captured a key town from rebel forces after heavy fighting. Tebogo lies 100 kilometers east of the capital. The victory comes as the junta prepares to hold elections later this year. It will be the first time to vote since it seized power in 2021. Opposition groups say they won't allow voting to take place in areas that they control. Western governments have condemned to the planned poll as a sham. Recapping on your top stories, the political atmosphere in Uganda has intensified after key opposition figures and hundreds of citizens flocked to the Electoral Commission to collect presidential nomination forms ahead of the 2026 elections. For any news stories you'd like to share with us, please send us an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us at +27 11 714 4459. Channel Africa News, I'm Onele Tsinzi.
SABC News. The African Perspective.
It is 6 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time. Welcome to the final hour of The Upside on Channel Africa, The African Perspective with Tebogo, Lekhuleni and Mmatsheko Mosito. We are coming to you live from the Auckland Park studios in Johannesburg, South Africa. Stream us live on our social media platforms at Channel Africa on Facebook and YouTube and at Channel Africa 1 on TikTok. Where are you streaming us from this afternoon? Let us know on our WhatsApp line +27 63 406 9126. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. We're talking all things wellness in this hour and how yoga can be used to recenter your entire being. I'm still skeptical about it, to be honest, because I've just not successfully done it properly.
You know what I'm going to do?
And I'm not that flexible at certain
When is your birthday?
April.
Oh, it's past already. Okay.
April, yeah.
I'm going to get you a yoga mat for Christmas. I'm going to buy you a yoga mat.
It is going to sit in the other room.
No, it's not going to sit in the other room. Listen now to what I'm saying. And you're going to open the yoga mat every day.
Okay.
And you're just going to do just one small asana. Just one. It doesn't have to be a full-on yoga session when you're doing the namaste. No.
Yes.
Just one little asana. Just stretching your legs. I mean, even just a shavasana where you're just lying.
A shavasana?
Yes, that's basically where you just lie on the mat and you face up and meditate lying down. Even if you just do that, you have started something. And then we're going to build from there. And we're going to give you links to YouTube channels that we use. Okay. And in 6 months' time, you're going to be a semi-yogic safari guy. That is my dream for you. So I'm going to get you a beautiful cork mat. Okay. Because I know where I can find a gorgeous one for you. And it's just made with, the stuff that you like, eco-friendly, what. And then you're going to begin your yoga journey. I promise you, it's just going to reveal you to you. It's a journey of self-discovery.
I just discovered a whole new word or technique. What is it called? Shavasana.
Shavasana.
Let's Shavasana into a break. It's 9 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time.
In this episode Channel Africa Conversations. Peter talks to Dr. Tulisile Buddha, an academic, author, and an expert in indigenous knowledge systems. Join us for a compelling discussion on preserving African languages and traditions in the digital era. Dr. Tulisile unpacks the role of educators, explorers, and how technologies like AI can support cultural preservation, and challenges us to rethink how we honor African heritage. You can find the episode on YouTube, SABC Plus, and on our website, channelafrica.co.za. This episode is a must-listen for educators, creators, and change makers across the continent. Channel Africa, the African perspective. This is The Upside for the best African vibes, groundbreaking content.
Low-key, all of them done they notice. I'm not joking, all my guys, them know me. Since '06, I've been writing this story. I know be OG, but if you ask them know me. I know they blow trees, only lonely me lonely. Music chose me, just know this and know peace. I dey low key, but I'm never lonely. Sexy ladies, come wine for me slowly. I love me, I sing, and wake me believe her. I be like the boy, I be seen her. Yeah, nobody only be over.
Fireboy, DML, Ashake, Bandana. What a banger. I love the song. No, you cannot listen to the song and not just bob your head or just dance to it. What a beautiful song it is. Bandana, Fireboy, DML, and Ashake. It's now 13 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time. Let's get into a conversation about wellness and how yoga can help you recenter, help you with your flexibility and mobility. Mmatsheko is still trying to convince me and just flip me over into.
I've done that already, and you're going to come now on the journey.
I will try.
Yes,
I'm
that's good
hoping
enough.
that it's going to be quite an experience. But maybe let's listen in on a proper yoga instructor who knows a thing or two about this yoga.
Yes, as we take a deep breath. You know what I love about...
Breathe
in deeply. 1, 2, 3. You know what I love about what we're seeing with the practice of yoga is how it is now being popularized in countries like South Africa, countries like Uganda. I've seen many sort of institutions and places pop up that are encouraging young people to participate in yoga. In Kenya, it's becoming quite a thing as well. So it is the world's oldest practice, you know, and it continues to really bring people of all ages together. And like I said, I think it's a wonderful journey of self-discovery. So when we talk about yoga, we're looking at how it helps to improve stress, which is a wonderful thing in this day and age, without a doubt. It improves flexibility, whether you're a senior citizen or not, you know, and there are different levels of it. There's gentle routines, there's more advanced routines, you know, like the Ashtanga yogas of this world and all of that. But yoga adapts to meet everyone where they are. Tebogo, it can meet you where you are. So you don't have to worry, okay?
That's
so you can see it as a form of exercise. But it is not just a practice that nurtures the body. It's also a mind and spirit practice, okay, that creates a sense of community across generations, which is so wonderful. And we have invited a wonderful, I call her like a yoga baddie, because she is just...
A baddie?
She is, listen, she makes me want to get on that mat. She is so amazing. Her name is Mmatsheko. She is a yoga instructor and wellness entrepreneur. She's young, fabulous, and black and talented. And she is bringing yoga closer to young black people, young black women and men on the African continent. And showing them that they too can do it, that it is a lifestyle, that it's not just this thing out there in Asia far away from you. And she's brought it closer to home. So I'm very, very excited for us to have a conversation with her. She's standing by to talk to us in just a moment. Mmatsheko, that is. Have you seen her Instagram page?
I'm checking it out right now, actually. It's at Vanessa Mulao.
If you search for Mmatsheko,
if you search Vanessa.creative.
Yes, that's the one.
That's where you'll find. You
that's
can see here, she says, here to assist and build movements. That is her brand. And I love it. And she travels a lot. My goodness. Oh, she's okay. She's traveling. She's out and about. All right. But I'm still trying to figure out how me being the safari guy can get into the yoga, onto the yoga mat, and
you're gonna see animals in a whole different light. I promise you, you are. Hashtag
now
just
you're just
saying.
making things up.
No, I'm not making things up. I promise you. Try it, and then we're gonna have this conversation again in 2 months.
You do yoga, right?
Yes,
Yoga's
I
your
do.
thing.
I mean, I don't do it. I'm not as consistent as I would like to.
Okay.
But I try and do it at least 3 times a week. When it's really bad, it's like once a week.
Guided yoga.
Yes, so I do it with an instructor.
Okay. So walk us through some of the simple form. You know, when I think about yoga, I just think sitting on a mat and just having your arms, your palms open, and then just humming. That's what I think about yoga. But to get there, you must fold your legs.
Well, the meditation is part of the practice. But if you're talking about the physical aspect, there are different types of yoga. So there's hatha yoga, there's vinyasa flow. Hatha, yeah. So Hatha, hatha yoga, which in my opinion is a good place to start for beginners, you know, because hatha is very good with the breathing stuff and the flow, you know, it's just great for beginners. And that's where I started. Hatha yoga, there's vinyasa flow, there's that one like where you really just contort your body in all sorts of directions. Ashtanga yoga. Oh my god. Ashtanga yoga is like literally I've seen people with their elbows meeting their noses. and knuckles in places I didn't think they would be able to.
That doesn't sound safe.
No, I mean if you've been practicing a long time and you're really flexible, you can achieve anything, and that is what yoga is about. It is your personal business. Even if you're doing it in a group, it is about you and what's happening with you and the mat. I've had moments on the mat where I was happy all day, like bouncing around, high-fiving everybody, eating delicious food. And then I get on that mat and halfway through the session, I'm in tears. So it just reveals and undoes the kinks, and it sages you from the inside out.
Sounds dangerous.
It's juicy.
So besides,
it's amazing.
So the only things that I know about the yoga is that besides the meditation,
yes,
side of it, is downward dog. That's the only one I know.
The downward facing dog is a great position.
And the feet has the baby position. What is it called? The baby.
Oh, that's very comforting.
Something like that.
Yes, that brings you closer to you.
I know a thing or two.
Yes, and really, it's a great practice if you really want to tap into your physiology deeply. Try yoga. Start with hatha yoga. But I'm not the expert. Vanessa Tseki is. Like I said, I call her a yoga baddie because she is just amazing at being able to bring young people closer to the practice. And it's wonderful to catch up with her in her capacity as a yoga instructor, very experienced, and a wellness entrepreneur. Find her on Instagram, okay? As we're having this conversation, find her. Vanessa Creative on Insta. Her Instagram is absolutely glorious. Vanessa, welcome to Channel Africa. So wonderful to talk to you.
Thank you so much for having me and for all the glorious words of affirmation I'm receiving. I definitely receive in abundance.
You are so deserving, and thank you for bringing yoga closer to us. You have certainly taught me so much about just yoga sort of being a practice of freedom, freeing our bodies. And I think especially as women, there's just so much shame around how we should behave, how we should be. And yoga, you have taught me, is actually an expression of freedom. So let's talk about the practice. I mean, we obviously just gave our opinions as people that kind of dabble into the practice here and there. But if you were to define it for someone that's never done the practice, what is yoga and how would you categorize its benefits?
So yoga is defined in the traditional sense, which has its roots from India, and hatha, I heard you speaking of, is the more widely understood and accepted yoga. And from that paradigm or perspective, yoga comes from the word yoke, which is union. And what we're doing is creating union between our mind, body, and soul. But also through our research in this journey, we've been able to trace yoga all the way to Africa and finding its origins in Kemet in Egypt. So that's been really affirming as a Black yogi for sure.
It is 22 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time. We are talking about embracing flexibility and mindfulness through yoga at any age. And we continue the conversation right after this.
No matter where you are, Channel Africa is always with you.
Zochitika ndi madapiri kamlondola wazochitika pena paliponse.
Mabizinesi osiyana-siyana mdziko la South Africa ayamba kukhoma msonkho wa 30% akamagulitsa katundu wawo ku dziko la United States of America. Ndipo noteri ndi katswiri wa zachuma mu dziko la Malawi, Dr. Bertha Chikadza. Boma la South Africa masiku apitawo linanena kuti ngati America akani kutsitsa msonkho, bomalo lipeza misika ina. Mungatifotokozere kuti ndizotheka South Africa kupeza misika yomwe ingabweretse ndalama pafupifupi $15 billion zomwe imapezeka ku misika ya ku America.
Tinene kuti izizi zitha kuchitika koma sizingachitike mwa pompopompo chifukwa tikaonetsetsa izi zinthu zokuti inali msika wa dziko la America noni msika wakukhazikika umene dziko la South Africa linali likazolowera kale. Tsono kuti tingonena kuti dziko la South Africa lipezanso msika mwina mwasangasanga kuti lizitumiza katundu wake mwina sizingachitike pachokuti tikunena pa $15 billion ndi ndalama zambiri ndithu.
Zochitika ndi madapiri lolemba mpaka lachisanu pa nthawi ya 7 koloko kufikira 8 koloko madzulo pa Channel Africa.
Whatever you want to hear about today's talk, you can get it on the upside.
Well, let's continue our conversation about embracing flexibility and mindfulness through yoga at any age. And we are joined on the line by yoga instructor and wellness entrepreneur, Vanessa Tseki. Vanessa, let's talk about the benefits of yoga. Physically, mentally, emotionally, walk us through it.
I mean, how much time do you have? We could go on for a while, right?
I love it.
But yoga, essentially the benefits, there's the pillar of physicality, which is flexibility, strength, because as your colleague mentioned so factfully, there's so many different types of yoga. There's a yoga where you sweat and you lose weight. There's yoga where you come towards yourself and move slow with a sort of Zen practice. Physically, it's almost like exhaustible what we could do. But what I really enjoy about yoga is the mental and spiritual aspect, not to be confused with religious. There's nothing religious about yoga. We're not praying to any god or anything of the set. But spiritual in the sense that you get to connect with yourself by using the breath and slowing the breath and really taking the time to be in the present moment. And Eckhart Tolle, a renowned yogi himself, spoke of how the ability to do that really gives us the power of now, which is being able to kind of take control of our present moment, because we're neither in the future nor in the past. All we have is now.
That's all you have is now.
That's profound.
Oh, wow. I love that. And, you were saying earlier, Vanessa, about just explorations of yoga. I mean, sort of giving us a definition of what yoga is. And it being this exploration of you being a three-part being, body, mind, spirit. Something that I've noticed is we like not breathing enough, just generally as people. And I've seen a lot of experts in spiritual practice, if you will, as a broad umbrella term, talk about the fact that we're just not breathing properly, and there's power in the breath. So let's talk about the connection between yoga and the breath and how that assists in us being able to manage our stress and improve flexibility and our well-being.
Oh, you're threatening me with a good time now. I really love this part of it because, it's not about the Instagram poses of being in these circus or gymnastic poses. For me, it's really about breathing right. So the best way I could illustrate it to you and your listeners is if you think of an emotion when you're angry, how do you breathe?
Rapid.
Really, exactly. And so you're finding that your emotions are dictating your breath. And what yoga and breath work, traditionally known as pranayama, does is instead of allowing the emotion to dictate our breath, we use the breath to dictate our emotion. So if you're feeling angry, rather than have an awareness of changing the rhythm of your breath to then correlate with an emotion that you want to be in, which might be karma in that moment. So instead of focusing on that deep, rapid breath or whatever has made you angry, you focus on your breath, taking a longer, deep breath in, maybe counting 5 counts in, hold for 5 counts, and 5 counts out. And that automatically regulates your nervous system and gives you the power to really take ownership of your emotions.
On the African continent, Vanessa, are we embracing yoga as a way to deal with stress and as a way to recenter ourselves? Because we know that, yes, it comes from the Asian countries of the world, but as an Africa, are we embracing yoga as a means to come to ourselves and as a way to express ourselves?
I'm so proud of my African brothers and sisters because the truth is everything comes from Africa, and me mentioning the origins of Kemetic yoga was important because often we think that this is an Eastern practice that we have that doesn't connect to us. But when we breathe and connect to spirit, we connect more, and that has been part of our ancestral rite of passage. We breathe in a certain way, we move in a certain way. And in contemporary Africa, I'm so glad I was born in this time because I never would have thunk it that I'd be able to have a career where I was able to lead and teach people. And that, I think, is testament of itself. And starting the first Black yoga studio in Johannesburg, I mean, who would have thought? And being supported by Africans.
This is incredible. Let's talk about how, I want to talk about that because I think that's just so phenomenal what you were able to achieve with your good friend starting this center. And, a lot of Black women started to come in and find so much healing in your space. Let's talk about what you've seen, in terms of you as a yoga instructor. How have you seen, I think particularly women, because we carry so much, we literally the nurturers. and we raise the nation in so many ways. How have you seen yoga benefit women since starting your practice?
Oh, it's been absolutely, I guess, it's humbling, and it's really has given us as teachers a sense of purpose. The women who walk through our studio often come, and that's the thing, in the wellness space, we're actually, contrary to popular belief, trying to correct the fact that it's just mostly women. And luckily, we're getting a lot of men coming through, because this practice is essentially for everyone.
Nice.
But women have the power and the capacity to create and heal. So this is not about coming in with some foreign healing aspect to teach them, but rather them connecting to their own power. You cannot give life into this world and think that you cannot sustain the life within you. And so teaching women and helping them reclaim that power from their breath, through the movement, through moving through their trauma, has been, I guess, an affirming life purpose, and seeing just how much this has spread. And, by virtue, when lockdown hit, we were forced to close our doors. And when God closes the door, he opens a window, they say, and we're able to open a school. And so far, we've trained over 70 yogis of color, making my job almost redundant.
Vanessa, I'm going to ask that you stay on the line for us, because I would love for you to guide us breathing exercise. So many people on the African continent right now listening in on this conversation, we are always busy, rushing to do what. We hardly have the time to just compose and breathe. And I would love for you to guide us through a breathing exercise that we can do anytime, anywhere, as soon as we start feeling those stress levels rising. It's 30 minutes after 3 p.m. Central African time. Let's get the final sports news with Musibudi Makura on the upside.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African perspective.
Thank you, Tebogo. Good afternoon once again from the Sports Desk. So Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah has won the PFA Player of the Year for a third time. So the Egyptian claimed the award last night at the awards ceremony in London, having also got his hands on the Premier League title with Liverpool, the Golden Boot, as well as the top assist award from just last season, after he scored 29 goals and tallied 18 assists. He also broke the record of the most goal involvements, 47, in a 38-game Premier League season. He reacts to his third PFA Players Player of the Year award.
Great. Do something like never happened before in a Premier League is something I will never forget it, and I will never take it for granted. Yeah, so I'm so happy. I'm glad about that. Yeah, I think we had a great season. I had also my best season in the club, maybe in my career as well. We win the league in a historical way, and I'm glad that we managed to do that, and hopefully also will continue this year.
On to this now. The CHAN 2024 quarterfinals have been confirmed. So starting this Friday, the 22nd of August, Kenya, the co-host, will face off with Madagascar. This will be played at the Moi International Sports Centre at Kasarani in Nairobi, Kenya. Then Tanzania will take on Morocco at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium in the city of Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. On Saturday, the 23rd of August, Sudan will be up against Algeria. This match will be played at the Amam Stadium at Zanzibar City, while the other co-host Uganda will face off with the defending champions Senegal at the Nelson Mandela National Stadium in Kampala, Uganda, with all teams, of course, vying for a place in the semi-finals of the ongoing CHAN tournament. On to rugby news now. South Africa have added a date with Japan at London's Wembley Stadium to their autumn international series, with the fixture set to take place on the 1st of November in a rematch of an iconic game from the 2015 Rugby World Cup. Now, coach Eddie Jones' Japan in that year defeated South Africa 34-32 in what was dubbed the Miracle of Brighton, though the Springboks then went to exact revenge by knocking the Asian side out of their own World Cup on the way to lifting the title back in 2019. So the Springboks will face off with France as well in Paris the following week, before then travelling to Italy on the 15th of November, Ireland on the 22nd of November, and then Wales on the 29th of November on an unprecedented 5-match tour. South Africa also meet Argentina at Twickenham Stadium in their final game of this year's Rugby Championship, that match to be played on the 4th of October. In tennis news now, the ageless Gael Monfils will return to the Auckland Classic in January to defend his title a year after becoming the oldest player to win an ATP Tour crown. Now, the flamboyant Frenchman, who turns 39 next month, beat Belgian Zezou Bergs in the 2025 final, making him the oldest player to win a tour-level title since Ken Roswell triumphed in Hong Kong at the age of 43 back in 1977. So Monfils, a 13-time ATP champion, as well as a former world number 6, is the first player confirmed for the 2026 tournament, with organisers having confirmed the news on Tuesday. The tennis showman also remains a huge crowd draw card that is capable, of course, of pulling off big wins in his style of play. So Monfils dumped fourth seed Taylor Fritz on a run to the fourth round of the Australian Open back in January of this year. Finally, the world number 1 Jannik Sinner, who was forced to retire during the final of the Cincinnati Open, and playing partner Katerina Siniakova were removed from the US Open mixed doubles draw. The withdrawal also comes a day after illness had forced Sinner to concede defeat to great rival Carlos Alcaraz. That's after going down 5-love in the first set of the Cincinnati Open final on Monday. The 24-year-old did not speak to journalists after the loss, issuing a statement saying that he would definitely play at the US Open in New York, where the singles main draw starts this Sunday. Well, that is a wrap of your sports news this afternoon on The Upside. For any sports stories you'd like to share with us, simply send us an email. That's to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za, or you can give us a call. The newsroom line is +27 11714 4459. I'm back with the final sports update for the afternoon in the next hour. It's 15:35 p.m. Central African time for Channel Africa Sport. I am Musibudi Makura.
Sports on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Es-tu préoccupé par quelque chose? Es-tu passionné par les questions qui comptent? As-tu une voix qui mérite d'être entendue? Eh bien, nous avons la plateforme parfaite pour toi. Téléphone-nous ou fais-nous un WhatsApp au +27 66 408 87 42 et nous te rappellerons. Sois dans la conversation.
Salut Channel Africa, ici Beno le diamant rouge aka Binal Sport depuis le Cameroun, le pays des lions. Voilà.
Sois dans la conversation. Il ne s'agit pas seulement de parler, mais c'est ta chance d'exprimer ton point de vue, de partager tes opinions et de t'engager avec une communauté qui valorise ton avis. Suivez-nous sur les réseaux sociaux, visitez notre site www.channelafrica.co.za et préparez-vous à partager vos points de vue sur Channel Africa, la perspective africaine.
Well, standing by now to give us the latest in business news. This is the final business update on The Upside this afternoon is Matapelo Mahape.
Business news on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Thank you, Tebogo, and good afternoon. South Africa's Water and Sanitation Minister, Phemi Majodina, is in Lesotho to conduct oversight visits to a number of projects, including the Podihadi Dam, the Single Bridge, and the Lesotho Highlands Water Tunnel. She says South Africa has invested billions in these projects. The Lesotho Highlands Water Project is a binational initiative between the two countries designed to transfer water from Lesotho's highlands to South Africa, Gauteng's province. It does involve the construction of dams, tunnels, and a hydroelectric power station. Majodina says South Africa is also paying for the water it gets from Lesotho.
We have invested 53 billion for this project, and this project was delayed for 9 years. The cost since then escalated to 53 billion. But also, we are not taking this water for free. We are paying royalties. We are paying hundreds of millions per month for this water. So I want to dismiss the myth that we are just taking Lesotho people for granted. That is not true. We are paying.
A non-profit social enterprise, Harambe Youth Employment Accelerator, which connects young people to jobs and job opportunities in South Africa, says that the job market needs to address the barriers that keep young women and youth out of employment. The organization shared this at the Women's Month Media Day event in Johannesburg. Head of research at the enterprise, Victoria Duncan, adds that young people face a few barriers to labor market participation, like data cost and transport, but women face added barriers.
Women experience additional barriers in terms of safety, in terms of the disproportionate responsibility of unpaid care work. And so when employers think about how they're wanting to structure work to make it inclusive, by meeting women where they are and addressing these barriers by providing flexible work or providing transport solutions or decent earnings, they are in fact actually breaking barriers for all young people. So everyone is benefiting.
The Banks of America's legal representative in the rand manipulation case urges that foreign banks should not be implicated in the conspiracy by being members of the instant chat room. Paul Farlam, the bank's senior counsel, urges that the Competition Commission has not proven personal jurisdiction or sufficient connecting factors between foreign and local banks.
Their argument is because we were in the Old chat room, therefore we knew or could reasonably be regarded as knowing that there was a worldwide SOC involving South African traders, and so we submitted that if the oil chat room has good and bad, malign and benign purposes, and it's involved in they're trading a number of different currencies, you can't initially then conclude that because you joined the oil chat room, you automatically had a malign intent.
Onto this now, Uganda is in talks with the development of finance institutions and credit export agencies to have 85% of a planned railway project financed with debt, amid concerns over an already high public debt pile. Turkey's Yapi Merkezi won the contract to build the $3.15 billion railway in October last year, and preliminary works have begun. Some of the potential financiers included the OPEC Fund for International Development, Africa Development Bank, Islamic Development Bank, and some European export credit agencies. It reports that debt financing talks were in advanced stages and expected to be completed soon. Air Canada flight attendants have reached a tentative deal ending unpaid work following a strike that grounded thousands of flights over wages and unpaid labour. The union, representing over 10,000 Air Canada flight attendants, said the deal would pay flight attendants an hour before flights on narrow-body jets and 70 minutes on larger wide-body aircraft at half of their normal hourly rate in a year. Rising to 70% by year 4, analysts say that gains could influence upcoming contract negotiations in North America. And look at your financial indicators. $1 in Nigeria is trading at 1,000 naira 533. In Botswana, it's 13 pula 40. Kenya, the dollar is trading at 128 shilling 40. And the Zambian kwacha, it's at 23 kwacha 26. The BRICS countries, $1 in Brazil is trading at 5 real 46. Russia is 80 ruble 60. India, it's 87 rupees at 10. In China, it's 7 yuan 18. And in South Africa, $1 is trading at 17 rand 64 cents. $1 is trading at 17 pence to the British pound and 85 to the euro. And look at your commodities. Gold is trading at $3,339 and platinum at $1,328 per ounce, while the price of Brent crude oil is at $66.39 a barrel. For any business stories you'd like to share with us, please send an email to newsroom@channelafrica.co.za or call us on +2711 714 4459. For Channel Africa Business News, I am Matabula Mahape.
Business News on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Stella Longwe pamalonje
palitu sokoma pano pamalonje kumvera nyimbo za mu africa kusangalala kupeza moyo akuti kumva moyo kuti kuyenda bwino pano pamalonje ndiyetu apa tili ndi katswiri oyimba ameneyu ndi katswiri wa dziko la malawi amene akukhala mdziko la south africa ndipo amayimba amene akuti ndi big nick malawi yatiusani kuti kodi moyo wanu woyimba ukuyenda bwanji mu johannesburg?
Moyo woyimba ukuyenda bwinobwino kwambiri chiliyonse chikutheka ndithu bwinobwino.
Ayi aziwoneka chiliyonse chikutheka pomwe magrasi anu apa mwaka akuti kumenya yonse aziwoneka zoti azikutheka ndithu mu johannesburg.
malonje pa nthawi ya 6 koloko kufikira 7 koloko madzulo lowiruka ndi Stella Longwe.
The Upside. On the Upside, your voice matters.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We are fast approaching 4:45 p.m. in Central African time, and we're going to take a moment now. So you are in blessed luck if you've just started listening to The Upside with Tebogo and Mmatsheko. We are in the company of a yoga instructor and wellness entrepreneur by the name of Mmatsheko, and we have been talking all things yoga and how, you know, it connects us as African people to ourselves. Journeys of self-discovery, mind, body, spirit. An exploration of yourself as a three-part being, okay? And it's been just such a beautiful conversation that we've been having with Vanessa. And right now, we're going to ask her to move us through just a brief 3 to 5 minute breathwork session, because yoga incorporates different spiritual mindfulness practices, and breath work is one of them. We are not breathing properly. We're not being mindful of our breath. And that is the one thing that is free and accessible to you at any given time. Like right now, as I'm speaking, my breath is here. And wherever you are, you've got your breath, whether you're stuck in traffic, whether you're about to get into a stressful board meeting with a bunch of people you don't like, whether you are about to, whatever it is that you're going to do, okay? You've got your breath to lean on for support. So, Vanessa, let's talk just a little bit about what breathwork is, and then please guide us into a breathwork session that we can practice at any time.
Oh, it'd be my absolute honor. So breathwork in the yogic philosophy is known as pranayam, and it's basically exercises for your breath. And as I mentioned before, it's a way to regulate your nervous system with coded patterns of breathing. So these are ancient practices. There's certain ways we breathe that correlate with certain emotions, and practicing and exploring those codes is known as breath work.
There's a whole
Isn't
theory.
it amazing?
Yeah,
Oh my
there's
goodness.
a whole theory
I love
behind
it.
these. It's amazing. Let's get practical now, Vanessa. If you don't mind guiding us through this a breathing exercise that we can practice anytime, anywhere. And if you're listening in on the show right now, whatever you're doing, let's do it together so we can drop those cortisol levels.
Absolutely. All right. So I'm going to be speaking to two different people who are able and have the capacity to close their eyes, and people who might be in traffic and have their eyes open. So depending on who you are, either gently come closing your eyes or just listen to my breath. Now, what I want us to do is to take a deep, deep inhalation through the nostrils. Inhale. Hold the breath. Hold. And using the nostrils, exhale out. Beautiful. Let's do that again. This time pulling all the way from the diaphragm. On your next inhalation, expand your stomach out like a balloon. Inhale. Hold. 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 And without collapsing into your chest, let that breath go. One last time, giving it everything you've got. Deep inhalation through the nostrils. hold. And this time, what I'd like you to bring to mind is any negative emotions you've experienced today or this week, any fears or stresses or anxieties, anything at all. Bring them to the top of your mind, and when you're ready, open your mouth and exhale out. And now I'd like you to gently return to your normal, natural breath. And just notice the rhythm of your breath, its pace and flow. And just reminding ourselves of that intricate yet beautiful relationship between our breath, state of mind, and emotions. Now that was a grounding, and I'm going to lead you through one round of what is known as box breathing, and we're essentially going to be breathing in a box. I will guide you. So to begin, you're going to inhale for 4 counts. Make sure it's nice and slow. You're going to hold the breath for 4 counts. You're going to exhale for 4 counts. Hold the breath out for 4, and that's 1 round. So let's begin. And relaxing your shoulders and through the nostrils, taking it nice and easy. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath, 2, 3, 4. Slowly and gently exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold that breath out, 2, 3, 4. One last round. Inhale. Hold the breath. Exhale. Hold the breath out and relax. And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, if you had your eyes closed, slowly and gently come fluttering them open.
Vanessa, are you available every Thursday at this time of the day, every day, so we can do this with you?
Call me. You've got my number.
Every single Thursday. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. That was, man, I feel like a star in the galaxy now. Thank you so much. That was amazing.
Yeah, the power is within you. All I did was guide you. So thank you.
Vanessa, where can we find you on the socials and a website to get a bit more inspiration and perhaps even just come to your studio for a proper session?
Oh, I'd love that. So as you mentioned, you can find my personal account, vanessa.creative, on all social media platforms. But the Nest Space is our yoga studio, and all are welcome. And we are the Nest Space ZA on all social media platforms. And we are based at 23 7th Avenue, Parktown North, in Johannesburg. And we're open every day.
Sounds wonderful. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for your work and just dedicating your life to being of service. You know, we see you having so much fun, but you also leave people better than how you have found them. It was an honor and a privilege to perceive you in this manner, and thank you very much for the offering. That was amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I can't even speak now. I'm in a different dimension. I'm in the fifth dimension.
I'm relaxed.
Aren't you just?
So the tone.
She's brilliant at this. Oh, she was born for this.
The tone is going to be a bit more relaxed.
It's going to
going
be
forward.
relaxed going forward. This is how we're going to speak.
Vanessa Tseki. A name not to forget.
Never.
Let's take a quick breather. When we get back, we continue the demureness of the upside.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Yes.
Vue d'Afrique avec Joël Mouteba.
Cette peur d'un point de non-retour nucléaire suffit-elle selon vous à légitimer une telle offensive, Monsieur Talati?
Absolument pas du tout. Cela fait plus de 30 ans que l'Israël crie haut et fort sur les toits, où il veut se faire entendre que l'Iran serait à 1 an pour obtenir l'arme nucléaire. Parfois, l'Iran serait à 6 mois. Parfois, l'Iran serait à 2 semaines pour obtenir son arme nucléaire. Et curieusement, jusqu'à ce jour, il n'y a toujours aucune preuve que l'Iran a obtenu cette arme nucléaire en dépit des déclarations d'Israël et de certaines puissances parfois.
Vue d'Afrique. Du lundi au vendredi de 15h à 16h, temps universel.
We are on OpenView's audio bouquet. Channel 628. If it's news and current affairs, leading opinions, and thought leaders that get your groove, this is your home, The Upside.
It is 3 minutes before 4 p.m. Central African time. We're taking it back to the beach with Shekinah and Kyle Deutsch. Beautiful music coming to you on the upside. And we are about to hand over to the one and only Queen of Africa in Business, because Africa in Business is coming up at 4 p.m. Central African time. Tami Ngubeni is in the building.
Are you ready to broadcast from the beach?
Look, I'm already at the beach. That did not do very well for me because it took me straight to the beach. What a feel-good song. What a feel-good way to
What
end.
a throwback also.
It really is,
We
right?
haven't heard that one in a minute.
I was just saying, well, it's only up on the up and up, on the
On the up
upside.
and up.
No downers
Always.
here. Well, good for you. Not good news for Murray and Roberts. We'll be focusing on them today. The South African construction industry has raised some concerns around the potential liquidation of Murray and Roberts, and you know that they're key industry players.
Sure.
So we'll be focusing on that story as well as the circumstances surrounding the potential liquidation.
Yeah.
And also Malawi's been having a rather tough time recently as far as the availability of petrol is concerned. Diesel is still okay, but petrol, that's another issue. So we'll be focusing this afternoon on when the situation is likely to turn around and what exactly is causing the shortage of petrol in Malawi.
Okay.
That's an interesting one.
Very important issues being addressed. Check out what's going to be happening after the news bulletin at 4 p.m. We've got Africa in Business with Tami Gubeni. It was a wonderful show, and I thought that was such an interesting synchronicity. We were talking about yoga, and then, Shekana saying we need to take it nice and slow. The music is talking. We need to broadcast from the beach. Have a good afternoon. We'll see you again tomorrow.
We are there next week.